Oh boy. The time can't keep up on you see. I think so them never thing there so but them a big man. Normally when them not show them out to them would show like 40 minutes out of the actual game. As they say all it that.
More seats available tonight than there were for the World Cup opener. That means more fans, more noise. The countdown to kick-off is on. It's history and a very proud moment for Uzbekistan as they play in a World Cup for the first time ever, and under a former World Cup winning captain, no less. Well, for Colombia, this isn't their first rodeo, especially for their head coach, Nestor Lorenzo. So much experience to bring to the party, but this now his fifth appearance to the finals as either player or coach. And fans of their side will be hoping he can make their nation proud once again in what is their sixth World Cup finals. The curtain comes down on the seventh day of play at the FIFA World Cup 2026 here at Mexico City Stadium. And alongside me here is Andy Hinchcliffe. Andy, a very, very big moment for Fabio Cannavaro, leading Uzbekistan to their World Cup finals for their first time.
Yeah, it's a landmark fixture for Uzbek football. Just wonder whether they can celebrate being at the tournament by winning games. It's also a big occasion for Colombia. Remember, they missed the last World Cup. They're looking to make up for lost time, so there's pressure. I think on both sides here to get off to a good start.
Uzbekistan will have the first chance to do so. They have a free kick in a very good area here. Uzbek Azulayev of Istanbul Başakşehir ready to take. His teammate waiting in the middle. Eldor Shomurodov. Ball's there for Luis Diaz. We'll be happy on his side, have a throw. Nestor Lorenzo is the Argentine in charge of Colombia. Has been at the helm now since September of 2022, and he has built something special with this side. His contract is actually due to expire following the World Cup, but I think unless they have a really disappointing tournament, he will be staying on. It is only his second head coach job at the age of 60. Just the previous spell in charge of Peruvian side Melga. But he has been to the biggest tournament before as a player and as an assistant coach as well, under Jose Pekerman.
We've got very different formations here, very different approaches from the two sides, which should make for really interesting viewing.
John Lukumi. Sanchez. Twitter, clipped forward by Arias there, looking for the run forward, but out it goes as Munoz ran out of room.
It's very early stages, but
Colombia,
Uzbekistan playing a back five, expect to sit deep to try and soak up pressure, contain Colombia, then look to break on the counter-attack for Colombia. They're going to dominate the ball, so they can be patient and provide that attacking quality, that precision to break down the mass ranks of the Uzbek defence.
Well, Uzbekistan have been knocking on the door for a fair old while now. They have had some near misses in terms of reaching the finals previously. 7 failed attempts previously since 1998 as an independent nation, previously part of the Soviet Union in many years gone by. And along with Cabo Verde, Curaçao and Jordan making their World Cup debut here. Sanchez who plays it forward. They might just have to rest on their laurels a bit here. Look at me.
So good.
There's a late challenge there. The referee has a look and eventually blows. Well, Uzbekistan had a free kick opportunity in the other end of the field a minute or so ago. Now it's Colombia's chance.
It's Kusanov who steps in. It's a needless challenge, a naive challenge. He's playing the man, not playing the ball. You don't want to invite pressure in the first few minutes of this game.
Looking on is the Arias looks like the favourite to take this. He can shoot from range himself and hasn't been afraid to try his luck throughout his career, but this will surely be a cross. Diaz among those gathering. It's the left foot instead of James Rodriguez. It's almost scooped away by Yusupov. He did the job in the end.
Yeah, Rodriguez is looking to put the ball into that corridor between the goalkeeper and the defensive line, but positive from Yusupov stepping off his goal line and taking all the pressure off his defenders.
Throw here to Colombia. Into 2022, they missed out on automatic qualification in the Thunderball section by 3 points and were only a point off. As well.
Rodriguez is going to get freedom to move around the front line. Arias down the right hand side will drift in field as well.
The run here for Sorunov. Colombia had it up. Right towards Suarez. He's had a goal-filled couple of years this year with his current side Sporting Lisbon in Portugal and previously with Almeria as well in Spain. A free kick here to Uzbekistan and an early yellow card as well.
It's brilliant work from Vasilyev. He just closes down Mojica. He just loses sight of the ball, the left back, and then he's turned around. And Vasilyev then drives in behind him. The left back takes him down. So a really promising attacking position here for the set piece.
Joan Mojica goes into the book. Plenty of experience at the age of 33, but is he going to have cost his side here?
Well, he's claiming he was fouled. He wasn't, and then he just dives across his man, and it's an obvious free kick.
So Bosbeck, Ozalaev, has had a sighter already from this kind of position. Slightly wider this time. Colombia pull everyone back. It's it straight into the one-man wall there of Luis Diaz.
Yeah, that's really poor. You've got to bypass that first defender. Just wonder how many opportunities Uzbekistan might have in that Colombian final first. They've got to make the most of them.
Slightly frantic start here at Mexico City Stadium. Quite understandable as well for Uzbekistan, who I'm sure can take heart from that game between Cabo Verde and Spain just the other day.
Things didn't quite go
ever so well for Curacao. Jordan beaten as well by Austria in their first game. That's for Ryan. Playing Shimonov in the middle. The ball there from Vargas goes all the way through to his opposite number.
Fabio Cannavaro, the head coach of Uzbekistan, he's built a team here which is defensively really sound. That's their first thought, is don't give too much away. They have to remember, though, to attack when they do have some decent possession. Don't just sit in their own half. Try and step onto Colombia, and they've done that pretty effectively in the opening few minutes.
Uranov can't hold it. Back there by Huerta. But it flies straight out of play. Of course, playing at altitude has its differences, and one of those things is the ball flying through the air. The president, Gianni Infantino, back at Mexico City Stadium. Behind him, Yuri Chorkaev, a 1998 World Cup winner. And to his right, Ivan Cordoba there, the former Colombia defender who scored the winning goal at El Campín in Bogotá to give Colombia their only ever title in their history as they won the Copa America way back in 2001. So many big names, Andy, at all these World Cup games. The stars have really come out across the three countries, haven't they?
It's no surprise, really. Such a huge competition. Being played in different places, it gives people a chance, celebrities, to get out there and enjoy the football. And so far, the World Cup has been outstanding in terms of the teams to the games. But they're really up for it, score each other. So.
Photograph yet, though. Those selfies. It's only a matter of time.
They might be waiting a very, very long time.
Moscovoy. Always one of those domestic-based players with Takor in Uzbekistan. There's something, though, that Cannavaro pointed out in his conference yesterday. He does think that maybe even off the back of this World Cup, so many of his squad will go on to maybe get moves to Europe and other leagues around the world that will take note of them here.
These Uzbek defenders, they're trying to be aggressive. I think there's a time and a place. Abdullayev there just goes flying into Luis Suarez, gives away a cheap free kick. His team had the ball again. Don't just make challenges like that. Foul your opponents and give the ball back to them.
Talking of fouls, that yellow card received by Joan Mojica is the quickest of the World Cup so far, as it came in just the 7th minute. Rodriguez. Playing a little deeper there, trying to orchestrate things. Nice one of that ball. Decent clearance as well. So Abdullayev got himself in the way.
Jefferson Lerma sitting deep and being that defensive insurance. Gustavo Puerta can step forward as he did there. It's a difficult ball to control for him, though. It's up around kind of hip height, so it's hard to get the ball down and maybe get a shot in, but he just can't keep the ball close.
You'd be forgiven for thinking we're in Bogotá or maybe Medellin as well. One of the other prominent Colombian cities, such as the noise and vibrancy inside this stadium. But the biggest crowd that Colombia played in front of throughout their qualification campaign at home was only 45,000 in Barranquilla. A couple of times they managed as many fans as that, but almost 40,000 on top of that here at the Mexico City Stadium. Slightly loose ball there, but it does make its way through to Mojica. Arias. Puerta. Arias. He's had an interesting season. Off the back of the Club World Cup last year, got a move from Brazil to Wolverhampton Wanderers in England, but a 6-month spell didn't go to plan. Has seen him go back to Brazil. There goes the flag for offside against Daniel Munoz.
That's a good switch of play, but Munoz is looking right across the defensive line. He shouldn't be caught offside. It just goes a little bit too early. It's a really disciplined defensive line that Uzbekistan hold. That's good defending as a unit. I mentioned there with Arias drifting infield. He'll do that. Munoz, the right back, will step forward to provide the width down the right-hand side. So, Uzbekistan, they have lots of defenders back there, but they have to be aware of that Colombian attacking movement.
Free kick to Colombia. Uzbekistan 2018, winning 5 of their 6 group stage games. I'm sure we'll have had an eye on that game between Portugal and DR Congo earlier this afternoon. Portugal scoring in that game, but that was their only shot on target as well. The star that Cristiano Ronaldo and co were after. Diaz. Colombia looking for a free kick that doesn't come from the English referee. Bazulayev, early looking for Shomurodov. The final ball was really poor, but encouraged to see how many Uzbekistan players broke into the Colombia. I said about this, you've got defending numbers, be disciplined. When you get the ball, can you break forward? There's 5 or 6 looking to get into attacking positions, and that's encouraging. Just whether they can continue to do that, because it's hard work. Sanchez. Lukumi. Ball over the top, looking for the slightly run there of Luis Suarez, but through to the goalkeeper it goes, who stayed down here. Supov. Also late bloomer with the national team, who make his debut to the age of 27 of 35. Was called by his own man there.
Yeah, Colombia just mixing up their attacking game. Lots of their football is played into feet. They're looking to turn Uzbekistan around there. Before the ball is over here, but it just looks like an innocuous kind of collision between Kusanov and his goalkeeper, but goalkeeper clearly not happy. And maybe again, he'll take a bit of time to slow the game down, slow Colombia's momentum down. It's what he'll maybe think about having picked up this knock.
Seemed a bit of an innocuous collision.
Yeah, he steps on the ball is over here. He's always going to pick it up. Just then runs into his own man and just gets caught. It's actually knee on knee, so a bit painful.
Not too much Cristiano can do about that kind of collision. It's fair to say this is one of the best atmospheres of this World Cup so far. Of course, Colombia, their fans at least, making most of the noise here, but Uzbekistan have a group of around 300 or 400 fans away to our left-hand side who've got themselves a drum of plenty of colourful clothing as well. They haven't stopped since they came into the crowd some 3 hours ago. Arias. John Arias! Getting a win, though plenty of the fans inside this stadium thought it was in.
Well, the opportunity arises. Great work off the ball. Gustavo Puerta running back, chasing back, winning the ball back, getting into Arias. See what he's trying to do, just maybe whip it in at that bottom corner. Just doesn't wrap his instep around it enough. Really good work from Puerta to win the ball back.
Well, 17 minutes in, that's the first attempt on goal for either side. Really felt like that kind of game so far. Sanchez with time and space to let it drop. Danilo Vargas of Atlas, who play here in Mexico, comes to take the ball. Was David Ospina, the long-time Colombia goalkeeper, is only on the bench, 130 caps to his name. Vargas winning just his 43rd today. Very much the preferred man in between the sticks by head coach Nestor Lorenzo. And again, John Arias. Munoz always an outlet. It was Suarez. Torres.
There's never going to be an easy chance. Good build-up play, playing for it. Decent ball in. And the strike is well beyond the near post, and he's well trapped as well. They've got 3 centre-halves, Uzbekistan. So one of them has to attach themselves to the danger man, Suarez. And they did well there. I think it's Abdullayev who gets across and gets the challenge in.
In swinger. In, but long it does swing. The touch on. The scramble cleaned up by Uzbekistan in the end, so things were looking pretty hairy for them there. Puerta from deep. Lukumi.
keep the tempo up, they keep that ball zipping around, because as you can see with the way that Cannavaro has Uzbekistan set up, they sit in their own half, they're really solid shape. So Colombia, who are going to dominate the ball, they have to move it around quickly, move that Uzbek defence around. Fabio Cannavaro will be the happy of the two coaches. He would have expected Colombia to dominate the ball, they are, but they're not really getting anywhere with it so far. So we'll be pleased the way his team have set up individually, collectively, coping pretty well so far.
Rodriguez and Arias in combination again, but the reverse there, just overhit by the Palmeiras attacker.
Just trying to force the issue a little bit. Got to be a bit more patient against a team who sets up like this. Instead, move the ball quickly, zip it around, but don't always try for those killer forward balls. They're not always on.
Well, I talked about Uzbekistan's near misses. In 2006, they lost an intercontinental playoff. In 2014, they missed out on qualification by goal difference only to Korea Republic. In 2018, they were 2 points short. Again, Korea edging them after a 0-0 in Tashkent in the final group game. But this time they have got there. It is a country on the up. Their National Football Centre opened in 2025. They've got a 55,000-seater stadium opening next year in time for the Under-20 World Cup they're hosting. The new Olympic Stadium and Village open ahead of the 2029 Asian Youth Games as well, which is going to be the largest sporting event ever staged in the country. The government there said it commissioned 118 sporting facilities between 2017 and 2022. And at the last Olympic Games, they came 13th in the medal table, so everything pointing towards success, not only in football, but in sport in the future. Shot in the game, but the Mexican wave is already making its way around this stadium. And why not? Lovely touch there by Arias, who is involved in just about every attack so far. Mojica, Arias, Rodriguez. Would really bring the house down if he was to score in this game. Here's Munoz. Diaz now rather. Wild ball in.
We haven't seen the best of Colombia as yet. I think Puerta, Rodriguez, Arias in particular, popping up in a variety of attacking positions. It will cause defences a lot of trouble. There's that earlier strike from Arias, just can't really wrap his instinct around it. Yusupov has it covered as well. I think Uzbekistan will be happy with that. Shots from range. Try and keep Colombia out of their penalty area.
There's a clear shot there, right in front of the assistant referee. There's a decision for him to make.
Well, Karimov is young, he's inexperienced, and this was a really naive challenge. Just stay on your feet. Colombian players running down a cul-de-sac. You don't need to make any contact at all. He does. Gives away a cheap free kick.
Well, incredibly, we're halfway through the first half already, so the first hydration break. At the moment it is Uzbekistan 0, Colombia 0.
Grab your popcorn. Because now you can watch Hoppers at home on Disney+.
I am clearing the rest of the day.
We put this into this. This is like Avatar. This is nothing like Avatar.
You know what is like Avatar?
Come again?
Avatar Fire and Ash, coming to Disney+ June 24th.
I see you. It'll be so beautiful. I am the fire! Fire, fire, fire.
This June is going to be epic with Hoppers and Avatar Fire.
cars out again.
I know. The match. Hang on. Looks like the neighbors have it going.
You should go ask if we can watch.
I think you should go and ask. Everyone loves you.
That is not true. You could do it. I'll get the chips.
What was the name again?
John. Actually, it might be Dawn.
Hey, you guys still have internet?
Yeah, game's on if you want to watch.
City Stadium as we get set to resume here. Bit of goalie glove maintenance for Camilo Vargas. Kusanov has had to keep his wits about him so far. I think in these early stages, in what is their first World Cup game, concentration big as much as anything so far for Uzbekistan.
Absolutely, I think concentration, organisation. I think we've seen that in the opening quarter of the match. They've not given anything away. Colombia, yes, they've had the ball, but it's all across the face of that Uzbek defence, so they've done well so far. Again, will the hydration break just change the momentum? We'll see.
So we're back on the way with this free kick for Colombia. This time they were at the World Cup in Russia in 2018. They lost their group opener to Japan. They'll be hoping for a more positive result here. Very much not here to make up the numbers. Cannavaro in his press conference yesterday repeatedly talked about their mentality as a group and their mentality as a nation that he thought was really going to help them get through this. Sanchez. Look at me. Central defensive pairing of Lukumi and Sanchez have completed more than 30 passes between them, more than the entire Uzbekistan team managed so far in this game. Passes between the central defensive pair rarely get you anywhere further down the field. Diaz. Munoz. Difficult one for him.
That's good work from Nazarbayev as a wing-back. He's going to take care of Munoz, who time and again is stepping forward, providing the width. The wing-back has to close that full-back down when that ball is switched.
For me. Works into Mojica. Couldn't quite get a hold of that ball there. It's helped on by Shukov, sorry. Shulayev long to Shomurodov. That ball is the call for the referee and a free kick here to Colombia.
It's not really easy for the long striker, Shomurodov. He's really reliant on quality into him, so he can just, get his chest on the ball, style the ball, control it, get his team up the pitch.
Like Cannavaro getting it ticking off there from the fourth official who was right by him, Juan Calderon of Costa Rica, as he went to retrieve the ball from outside of his technical area. Simple before going long, looking for Diaz. It's a high boot there. Push as well, and that's why Uzbekistan have been gifted the free kick by the referee.
There's great reading of the danger there from Kusanov. There's no pressure on the ball from James Rodriguez, so he delivers the forward pass. Kusanov had read it, picked it off. They get the free kick, and again, it just slowed the game down, slowed Colombia down. That was intended for Rostov Urunov.
this Uzbekistan side that play their club football in Iran. Of course, with the conflict that's going on there right now, saw their domestic league ultimately ended earlier than it should have been. So haven't had the amount of football they would have liked to in the build-up to this World Cup. Shomurodov trying to find his way through, but easier said than done against the might of Lukumi and Sanchez.
It's just the pace of Lukumi. Gets back round on the cover. All starts with Karimov, the right wing back, stepping into midfield, being positive. They get a break of the ball. Ultimately then they get the foul and the free kick. Good play from Karimov. Rudolph just looking to get in behind that centre-half pairing, but the pace of Lukumi saves the day. Just a warning to Columbia that it might not happen too often, but Uzbekistan, when they do get 3-4 players up the pitch, they can cause them problems.
The White Wolves, as they're known, Uzbekistan, do have plenty of support inside this stadium, given how far away they are from home. If you were to fly direct from Mexico City to Tashkent, the capital, it's over 8,000 miles and 16 hours in the air. You get through quite a few films in that time. Munoz. Diaz with the nod inside. Ball which is asking an awful lot there of the runner, Ozulayev. It goes to Vargas.
We've seen both sides of Karimov's game. Stepping forward. As a wing-back at times you have to do that, but most of the time he's going to be a defensive wing-back. As soon as the ball was switched towards Diaz, he was touch tight with him, shoulder to shoulder with him. It's good defending.
Arias. Oh, nice reverse. Diaz. Oh, it's off the post. And the goalkeeper got a touch there after as well. The closest we've come to a goal here so far. This stadium was on its feet.
That's the first time movement off the ball has caused those Uzbek defenders real problems. Lots of them just watching the ball. Having defenders back there is one thing, but you've got to be aware of the movement off the ball, and they weren't there when Diaz broke forward.
It looked for all the world as though that one would nestle into the far corner, but not quite.
Yeah, talks about it a lot, the attackers changing positions. Arias drifting in field. Diaz looking to get in behind the Uzbek defence. He's so unlucky. You know, he has to strike it across goal to the bulk of the goal, and that could easily have gone in.
Yusupov there, as he saw the ball come back to him, decided to throw it up into the air in an attempt to make sure that he didn't see his side go behind. There's a throw to Uzbekistan here, who will just give themselves a second or two just to compose themselves, I think.
Yeah, but that Diaz opportunity again. That's the fact, yes, you can have lots of defenders back there, but if you're not aware of movement, it doesn't have to be 3 or 4 attackers, just one, like Diaz with good movement in behind you. If you're watching the ball and he's on the move, you're in trouble.
So much energy in both sides, but particularly here for Columbia tonight. And, well, going over there, Diaz, also our cameraman. Hopefully he's okay. A decision here for the referee to make, and the yellow card is out for Abdulkadir Kusanov.
Well, Kusanov is lightning quick, but he wasn't quick enough. He was never going to get to the ball first here. He makes his mind up to sprint for it. He tries to get to the ball first ahead of Diaz in a foot race. Normally he wins them. He's just got too much ground to cover here. Gets there slightly late. Diaz just pitches the ball. Kusanov takes him out.
Just caught there on the leg and sent him flying off the side of the field.
It's not a challenge, really. Kusanov needed to make. He wasn't really in a dangerous position. You know, out wide, they're moving at pace. The ball could go out of play, so it's just a wrong choice to try and win the ball there.
James Rodriguez fired up for this encounter. He's standing over this free kick along with Arias. Wilson holds his breath. In by Rodriguez. Yusupov, and the referee saying the free kick was worthy for Uzbekistan anyway.
There's a bit too much flight on the ball in for me from Rodriguez. Should really be whipping that ball in. It's slightly easy to defend when that ball is kicked into the box. There's the brilliant movement off the ball from Luis Diaz. Defenders watching the ball, not him. He's so unlucky. Has to strike it across goal. Could easily have bounced into the back of the Uzbek net.
There's been a tournament of margins so far. That is 16th time the woodwork has been hit at this World Cup. Just a pause in proceedings here with the referee wanting a word with a couple of the Uzbek players. They are ranked 50th in the world right now. Cannavaro taking charge of his 10th game of tonight.
To the hydration break. Uzbekistan were doing really well, but since that stoppage, Colombia have really stepped things up, higher tempo, more quality. There's been a lot more defensive questions of Uzbekistan.
A real party atmosphere inside this stadium. Party that I'm sure will be going on into the small hours of tomorrow. There's an 8 o'clock kickoff here local time in Mexico. Arias. Arias again. Lukumi. Sanchez. Munoz. On the outside here. Midfield is Rodriguez. Colombia happy to just be patient here and wait for their moment. Mojica. Lukumi. Sanchez. Uzbekistan struggling to get out of their own half. Oh, lovely take there by Diaz. Luis Diaz couldn't quite find the cutback.
Yeah, it was a lovely take by Diaz, but again, Karimov just sells himself completely, goes to ground. Unless you're sure you're going to win the ball, stay on your feet, stay with your man.
Arias. Rodriguez. Really is floating around. Shomurodov goes down, free kick.
Well, that's brilliant hold-up play. As I said, if you get some quality service into him, he can control it. Good bit of skill. You get his team up the pitch, or he can get a free kick. It just relieves some of this defensive pressure they're under.
You just mentioned Fabio Cannavaro. There's been a little bit of churn in terms of the head coach role with Uzbekistan. Slovenia's Srećko Katanec retired in January last year. They then gave the job to legend Timur Kapadze of 119 caps when he was a player. He got them qualified for the World Cup, but was replaced by Cannavaro. Former Portugal and Korea Republic coach Paulo Bento went to Tashkent, but reportedly turned it down. Joachim Löw as well, the former Germany coach of many years, was also linked, but Cannavaro, the man who has led them here to this World Cup. Well, I guess at the end of it all, Andy Hinchcliffe, we should be surprised by nothing in football.
Yeah, I think you mentioned earlier that Uzbekistan, they're looking to move forward quickly in sport, in football, so maybe they were looking for that really big name to come in and move them forward quickly.
Mojica. This feel that Uzbekistan are sinking deeper and deeper by the minute here.
Yeah, they could really do with half-time.
Which is approaching. Diaz. Toying there with Ozalayev. Lukumi. Sanchez. Hands like that. Lerma. Diaz. That incisive ball. And Rodriguez nearly with a decisive goal. Diaz. They've got so many runners here, Colombia. Munoz, one of those! Party time in Mexico City for Colombia. The rotations were too much for Uzbekistan. And of all people to finish, flying in from right back, it's Daniel Munoz.
Yeah, it's a feature that Colombian attacking player, I've mentioned already, this movement off the ball. It can be wide players moving infield. It can be fullbacks stepping into the front line. You can have defenders back, but if you don't track the runs, if you don't communicate or pass them on, you're in big trouble because eventually you'll get a quality forward ball, you'll get a brilliant forward run, well timed. It's absolute perfection from Munoz. But you can see defenders looking at the ball, and it's not an easy finish. He goes with his favourite right foot and just kind of flicks it goals. Normally you go with your left. He backs himself just to flick it on. There's pace on the ball. It's a brilliant finish, but his run across that defensive line is absolutely sensational.
Just a fourth international goal for Daniel Munoz. First in almost 2 years since he netted against Brazil at the Copa America. It was actually his third in 7 caps back then. Now he's back on the score sheet, and it doesn't get much bigger than this.
Yeah, that goal, his goal is really, it underlines the attacking freedom he's given from the right back, because you've got Sanchez and Lukumi, 2 centre-halves with Lerma helping them out, so it's kind of a defensive triangle that just releases Munoz to step forward, but still, you know, that run, that was a striker's run and finish, it was outstanding.
Well, Munoz plays this club football for Crystal Palace in South London, a stadium which is held in that country in England as one of the more atmospheric, but it compares little to this place here tonight. And when that ball hit the net, this place went crazy.
Yeah, Uzbekistan had that warning. You know, he got loads of defenders, but if you watch the ball, Luis Diaz got in behind. They were fortunate the ball comes back off the post. On that occasion, again, no pressure on the ball as it's played forward. If you don't trap the run or block it off, you're going to get caught out.
Uzbekistan yet to have an attempt in this game at all. I don't think they expected it to be easy or simple for them to get chances tonight, but given how this game has played out so far, they do know that they are going to have to be extremely clinical if and when that chance comes.
Yeah, but they can't get too disheartened, they can't go chasing the game. You can see there's just been pretty much total dominance from Colombia. It's what you would have expected. Would have maybe expected a few more chances and goals, but they'll be disappointed. Uzbekistan, Cannavaro was so disappointed to have conceded that type of goal, but don't panic, just stay in the game.
Creeping forward, Delayev. Quickly taken in by Karimov. Kusanov. Looking for the one of Uranov. Time for Colombia, making sure that they cemented that dominance that they've had so far with a chance to get on the score sheet. Right back, Daniel Munoz has done that.
I said during the hydration break, I think Nestor Lorenzo would have said to his team, let's just again be patient, but play at high tempo, we'll eventually find the quality, let's keep making those forward runs, those Uzbekistan problems, and that's why they have the lead.
Diaz. The goal scorer. Defender on the score sheet again before tonight. Their last 2 World Cup goals scored by Yeni Mina, who is on the bench tonight. Arias. Give and go. John Arias. swerving effort from James Rodriguez. And Supov looking to dispatch quickly as we move into 5 additional minutes at the end of this first half.
I think even for him, that's optimistic from James Rodriguez. But I mentioned earlier in the half about Nasrallah, the left wing back for Uzbekistan. When the ball goes anywhere near Munoz, he has to get close to him or track his run. And I don't think he did with the goal. Just didn't actually stay with him or pass him on to his fellow defenders. That's why they were caught out.
Offside flag, just a few yards short of halfway. Karimov. Interesting ball, coming in aggressively there, Sanchez, and he was lucky, he didn't really have Chororov more than he did. It will be a corner here to Uzbekistan.
Here's that brilliantly timed forward run from Daniel Munoz. You can see there the defenders watching the ball, they've no idea where Munoz is, so they can't block him or stay goal side of him. Once he gets in behind, it's all about whether he can finish it. He does that quite brilliantly.
All the players were mapped pre-tournament with a 3D imaging system, which is how they're created there with an offside graphic that you've seen. Fazlayev. Uzbekistan looking for a historic goal here, which will be their first ever in the World Cup. So much determination there from Diaz. He was caught, the referee just giving himself some thinking time, but looks like it might just be a free kick here.
I'm sure it's the initial challenge on him that kind of unbalances him. Karimov's got to be really, really careful. He's trying to get tight, but Luis Diaz, we've seen this season with Bayern, he's a very tricky customer.
Well, out of shot, the referee, Anthony Taylor, was having a word there with Nestor Lorenzo, and I think just telling him to calm some of his backroom staff down, who were getting a little bit chirpy. Vargas, who has barely been tested so far, did have a play there by Karimov. Second game next Tuesday, the 23rd, not too far away from Guadalajara, and they finished against Portugal. It should be a titanic clash when they meet on the east coast of the United States in Miami. Munoz, Plata, back out here. Diaz in this left touchline. Two players on here. Rodriguez, Arias, Diaz, angle tight. Columbia fans were crying there for that ball to be played earlier. It will be a corner.
Yeah, Rodriguez just quickens things up. He's looking for the quick 1-2 with Arias. He just delays, doesn't play the ball off. Rodriguez really wants that. Then the fans saw that as well. And Arias just needed to realise what was needed there, just a sharp layoff.
Colombia's second corner taken by Arias. Well, the goalkeeper came, but didn't get too much on it. Still a chance maybe, but a really firm block.
Uzbekistan have to dig deep here. They can't afford to go 2-0 down just before half-time.
Just over a minute to go of added time. I think the overwhelming majority in this stadium will be happy with what they've seen in the first half. Mojica. Quickly out to Diaz, who has been growing into this game as it's gone on in the first half. This looks more and more of a threat with every touch of the ball. Karimov. Whistles. Uzbekistan touch here. They'll really have to go some to do anything in the final seconds of this half.
Yeah, you mentioned that the danger that risk Diaz poses, and that's why I was really interested in Cannavaro going for Karimov ahead of Safayev, who's more of an experienced, more of a kind of steady hand there at right wing back. So it's a bold move from Cannavaro, and really must trust his youngsters to be able to deal with one of the most dangerous players in European football.
That's time. At the halfway mark, Colombia 2 leads. I think if you'd have been stating any kind of better, we would have got on the score sheet in that first half. Not too many would have backed the flying right back Daniel Munoz. A great outlet throughout the first period, but he found himself on the edge of the 6-yard box, then able to prod home the only goal of the game from Diaz's ball in with 5 minutes to go in this first half, which means at the break, the debutants are behind. It is Uzbekistan 0, Colombia 1.
Daniel Munoz with his 4th goal for Colombia, his first Copa America, scored against Brazil 2 years ago. And Munoz has Colombia up after 45 minutes. It was a dominant half for the Colombians, and the possession numbers kind of what we thought, at 74%. I love the story that Munoz is rejected by so many clubs as a teenager. At 18, he wanted to go to the United States just to find a job, couldn't get a visa, so he goes back to soccer. Now he's playing in the Premier League for Crystal Palace, where he scored 5 goals this year and has a big one at the World Cup. As we welcome you inside our World Cup studio, Mark Rowe alongside Jimmy Brennan. You know, we went in expecting Colombia to play a style like that, but you were still taken aback by just how confident and comfortable they are dictating the game as they did in the first half.
Yeah, look, we knew they were going to be comfortable in possession. They moved the ball around well. They get in little pockets. But at times, especially in the first 20-odd minutes or so, they started forcing things. And until they realized the movement's got to get a little bit better, that's when they settled down. What I love is, so even when they do lose it, look how quick they get that ball back. Look how many numbers around the ball are all eager to hunt that ball back. And obviously from that, they get a clear shot on goal. The keeper's out stretching, trying to make sure it doesn't go to the back of the net from Arias. And Arias has been terrific for me in the middle of the park. He's been very instrumental. But I love the way that Colombia is playing right now, and especially towards the end of the half, very patient, very methodical, and then once the movement started coming in play up top, then you saw a huge difference.
Luis Diaz was your player spotlight before the match. He's now got 23 assists for club and country this year, and it's just another example, led by Rodriguez and Diaz, why you think this could be a team that goes on a long run at the World Cup.
Yeah, I do, because I think the players that they have are so confident right now. They've got a belief about themselves. I mean, we talked about this, just how good they were going into this tournament, that they could be a dark horse, and I do genuinely think that they can be. Luis Diaz, he is such a clever player. Just his movement, the way they pass the ball, and again, just getting on top of it. But Luis Diaz, for me, you saw him making runs, trying to get in behind. You saw him with the ball, setting up a goal. He does absolutely everything. And you got to give credit to the players in the middle of the park. And Huerta, those three have been very, very good. And their job is to provide and get the ball forward as quick as possible and try to make something happen.
Yeah, last night we were doing the Austria-Jordan game, and Jordan was able to make it interesting by counterattacking. Does Uzbekistan have that on their squad, that they can make things interesting if they're able to cause one mistake by Colombia and go off the pitch?
I don't think they can, because I think, like I said, towards the end of the game, or the end of the half, Colombia's movement was so good that Uzbekistan were chasing shadows. And every time they did try to get forward, just the pace of the Colombians, they can't match it, and they end up losing the ball. So for me, Uzbekistan is not a threat at all for this Colombian side. You see this build-up play here as they're playing out the back. Again, just look at the movement, just finding the little pockets. They realize the opposite side is open. Over it goes into Arias. And all of a sudden you can see Diaz. He just pulls away in between the two center backs. The two center backs are caught ball watching. He makes eye contact. Arias plays it in behind. Luis Diaz, great strike across the goal, ends up hitting the post. Here you can see Munoz, him and Suarez, they kind of interchange now. The left back doesn't know which one to go with. Do I go out wide or do I got to track a runner? Munoz ends up coming across. He makes eye contact with Diaz. He actually points to Diaz and says, put it in here, I'm making that run. The left back's pulled out. There's space for me to get in behind, and it's a clever finish with the outside of the boot and behind the keeper.
The Colombians scored 28 goals during qualifying. That was second to Argentina, and they have lots to celebrate after this first half as they get the opening goal in their opener against Uzbekistan, as Colombia looks to record their first World Cup win since June 28, 2018. That was a 1-0 victory over Senegal. They're up 1-0 at the half against Uzbekistan. In return, we'll have the latest on Canada ahead of their match against Qatar.
Where is he? 10 seconds before the whistle, and you think this is a good time to fill it a sea bass? Really, Terry? Come on. Just got back to the game. Just get them delivered, you donut. What are you doing?
You need to leave. Gordon Ramsay.
Who could cook at a time like this with hundreds of deals on Uber Eats?
If you're looking for the future of football, it's gonna be me. Capaz que no sabe quién soy todavía. Pero pronto lo vas a saber.
Aw, that's cute. I'm gonna be so big. I won't even be able to walk down the street.
The future is already here. Next starts now. There's dreaming about it, and then there's experiencing it with Amex Platinum. The trip you imagined becomes unimaginably real. You're seated at the hottest table in town. And Just like that, you've scored access to pre-sale tickets and you're singing every word. For a life like no other, you need a card like no other. There's nothing like Amex.
There's a reason why people fill bathtubs. Try viral hacks. Find shade. Use outdoor fridges. Garage fridges. Freezers too. Oops. And there's a reason why our mountains turn blue when your beer is cold. Because people don't just like beer. People like cold beer. Coors Light. Cold as the Rockies.
-1 as Canada continues to prepare for their match with Qatar. And after training, Coach Jesse Marsh caught up with our Matthew Shinetti.
Jesse, can you give us an update on Elfie Jones?
Yeah, Alfie will be out of this match. He picked up a muscle injury this week. We're still evaluating exactly how long it will be, but we're hopeful that we can, get him back into training at some point here soon.
How does that perhaps alter your approach with your defense, with Luke on a yellow and Alistair on a yellow as well?
Yeah, I think that we just have to be smart. Now that's like they're playing in, they pick up a early yellow in a match, and they have to be careful not to pick up another yellow. But I think that they're both smart players, and they'll be ready to deal with that. And I think Joel Waterman has been really good in training. And I think the best news of the week is that Moise Bombito has looked outstanding, like looking more and more like he's just about 100%. So I think we're all very optimistic that Moise can potentially play a role in this match, and then potentially, be even considered from the start against Switzerland.
How about Alphonso Davies? No update on his injury status yesterday. What can you tell us?
Yeah, we stopped giving you guys updates, and I probably should have pulled the plug on that earlier because we don't want to give information to our opponents, right? So Alphonso was in training this week, and he'll be available for us, and we'll see what the game looks like and what kind of role he could play in the match.
Thank you, Jesse.
Thank you.
All right, some positive news there as Canada, after recording their first point at a World Cup with that draw against Bosnia and Herzegovina, look to win their first game at a World Cup. You'll be able to see Canada versus Qatar tomorrow at 6 Eastern, 3 Pacific on TSN, CTV, and on Crave. It's Colombia leading 1-0 at the half against Uzbekistan. Back to Mexico City Stadium after the...
Not bad.
Stop rolling.
Stick to the plan. No improv, no theatrics.
These players are doing whatever they want all the time. We need to control this. I knew you, but didn't know your name.
Come on! He's not even listening to me.
5 minutes. Going down to 4. About 3. We had 1.
I don't think that's a good idea.
Is football we're a nation?
Elle serait la plus grande du monde si el fútbol fuera un idioma.
اعتمدت الصداقة في كل ركن من أركان الأمر.
No importa onde estejas. No matter who you are. La pasión al fútbol
pertenece
To the biggest team on the planet.
El fútbol une al mundo. Football unites the world.
stadium. This is one of the cathedrals of the sport. I mean, what's it like playing at the Azteca?
Do you know, it's one of the best stadiums you'll ever play in. The atmosphere, they call it the Beehive just because of noise that comes from the stadium when you're playing. I remember we were playing there with the Canadian national team. And we went in at halftime 0-0. Now, mind you, we were playing midday. It must have been 120 degrees at pitch level. You're in altitude. And the crowd were getting on Mexico. It was 0-0. And we came into the dressing room, lying on the floor, saying, fellas, we got this team. We got them. No problem. We ended up losing 4-0.
Okay.
It's a tough place to play.
It still tells a good story. And to tell the story of the second half, here's James Feldon and Andrew Hinchcliffe.
A full start. A kick-off routine that we've seen plenty at this World Cup so far. And the referee didn't like it. So we'll do it again. Imagine they'll probably do the same thing again. Nothing can really affect what they do. Maybe they won't. Supov with the long ball forward here for Uzbekistan, who are looking to try and come from behind here to get their fans behind this goal away to our left-hand side, something to cheer.
I just wonder with those changes at half-time, down to the problems that Munoz was causing Uzbekistan down their left-hand side. So Safayev and Fazalayev now are going to partner each other down that left-hand side. Fazalayev switching from right to left, so maybe they're trying to maybe double up and try and kind of stop and reduce Munoz's influence on the game. But they've just got to stay in the game here, Uzbekistan. Whatever their personnel, don't concede an early second in this in the first few minutes of the second half.
Here for Uzbekistan, played across by Abdullayev. He's one of a handful of players in the squad who play in the United Arab Emirates. Giba, his club. This is a time out of the game for injury, played against Canada in one of their warm-up matches, but before that hadn't played since February. Gumi played on. Lerman, time to play here for a Columbia throw.
Well, half-time might have slowed Columbia down, but I expect them to start this half really quickly. High tempo, try and get that all-important second goal. In games like this where you're dominating the ball, dominating the game, the opponents aren't really laying a glove on you. You need that second goal, it just gives you that cushion, that extra layer of comfort.
A breakout opportunity here for Uzbekistan. Here with Fazalayev, who relinquishes the ball. So many teams do. Colombia have 5 in this attack. Chance to Arias, but his first touch didn't help him. Shukurov wins the free kick.
Arias could be slightly fortunate not to be yellow carded for that, because Shukurov was away, the counter-attack was possibly on, and he got taken out.
Here's Rustam Shumatov. Fabio Cannavaro enjoyed the ultimate success as a player when he lifted the World Cup as Italy captain way back in 2006. Played every minute in that tournament. Only 2, though, have won the World Cup as a captain and coach. Franz Beckenbauer and Didier Deschamps. Zaraev needs to watch that one go, and Uzbekistan have a corner here.
I think Fazalayev again be switched from right to left. He's going to be looking to exploit that space in behind Munoz when the right back steps forward, and he's up into a good position there, but he was really keen to let the ball out of play to give his team the set piece and get the big centre halves up from the back.
Time in Tashkent right now, the capital of Uzbekistan, is 9 minutes past 8 in the morning. It's breakfast time there. There are so many millions of people glued to the TV screen
pass there was a real waste. Not going to get too many opportunities. Uzbekistan from open play, certainly from set play, so they've got to make them count. He goes for pacey delivery there, just overcuts it. It's way beyond the far post, the chance is gone.
Sanchez. Looking there by James Rodriguez. Arias. Space off the left here. Diaz for Arias. This Travella didn't work out.
It's such a waste because Mahika has covered so much ground on the overlap. That's where the pass should have gone, to the marauding left back.
Rodriguez. He's been a bit of a nomad in recent years. He bounced around the clubs, currently contracted to Minnesota United in MLS, but he's now played with 13 clubs in 11 different countries throughout his career. This is side's most capped outfielder. Number 127 tonight for him. Lerma. Finds his way through to Suarez. Doesn't really have too many influential touches of the ball so far.
It's probably understandable. He's a lone striker against three centre halves.
Headed by Sanchez. Here, taken by Sepia. Was one of the half-time changes. Brings a lot of leadership to the side. Play on both sides of the back line. Ross towards Saifiev in the end, at the far side of the field. Saifiev in. Sanchez out. Probably not looking totally comfortable. Tiniest of touches there, Seb Diaz. Sprawling. Free kick for Colombia.
It's been positive from Uzbekistan. Of course, they're going to have to take a few chances to have to ride their luck, maybe. Stepping onto Colombia, they're getting plenty of bodies in that Colombian half, just when they can produce that bit of attacking quality, create that one opportunity to get back in the game.
Standing in midfield, though the two do have their disciplinary issues and are never too far away from a yellow card. Here's Rodriguez. Beautifully waited for Mahika. In towards Suarez. Oh, that was miscontrolled there by Shumatov. Uzbekistan needs to fight another day.
It's good recovery for Shumatov because he's actually in a good defensive position, but he just makes a mess of the initial clearance. Reacts so well just to get a toe on the ball and clear his lines.
Cut him off. One Daikel again. It was nearly perfect as well. Spiel Saifiev.
Where's Mahika stepping forward, decent cross. The centre half is in a good defensive position, but once it bounces off him, Arias probably fancies his chances of tucking it home, defended as well.
Enjoying this game so far. He's not far away from the FIFA legends who have been in every game throughout this World Cup so far. So much expectation about this World Cup. Of course, across 3 countries in North America. It really hasn't disappointed so far. Some really exciting games and passionate crowds and crowd numbers that have broken records already. Rodriguez. Diaz has to cut narrow. Doesn't quite have enough pace on it. Hamdamov. Mazalayev. Counted out quickly. Shomarudov. Shukurov. Shomarudov, the captain. possession as Uzbekistan have had in the whole game so far. One free kick was likely to be given there. A bit of anger from the Uzbek attacker as well as he tried to nibble away and win the ball back, but Razalayev wasn't penalised.
Yeah, those Colombian whistles really show you how well Uzbekistan are doing. They're on the ball. Colombian fans don't like it. That's why they're whistling. But again, it's just whether Uzbekistan can create those opportunities. Having the ball is one thing. It's making chances. It's absolutely vital. And then, of course, got to be clinical.
No attempts on goal in the opening 10 minutes of the second half. The pressure on there was Puerta. Ball against Lerma. New arms involved.
I think Lerma actually sees that ball too late. Instinctively, the arm comes out. Again, for Uzbekistan, they'll be happy with that. It's a free kick. They get back on the ball. They can apply some more pressure.
Shakurov. 5 days will turn 30. No doubt we'll have some kind of celebration while in camp here in the Americas. Sanchez. Lerma. Arias. Munoz, the goal scorer. There was some ride for the Columbia fans to get here to the finals this time. They scored 28 goals in their CONMEBOL qualifying group, which is the most they've ever amassed in the South American section. Big results along the way. They beat Brazil at home. Home win against Argentina as well. Really finished up in style as they won 6-3 away to Venezuela. Finished in 3rd place overall. Lovely touch there on Puerta. Rodriguez couldn't find the weight on the ball. Escoboy sends it as far and as high as he can, looking for Shomurodov.
I think the opening 10 minutes of the second half kind of mirror the first maybe 25 minutes, half an hour of the first half, where there's lots of possession for Colombia, but not doing much with it. Again, they need to step the tempo up to get that all-important second goal. Again, with the hydration break, will play into Colombia's hands again.
3 Gs just about plays it back there to Puerta. Found himself in a bit of trouble, but Terros, the coffee grows, as Colombia are often known, have won the throw here. I don't think any caffeine is needed to keep everyone awake inside this stadium, though.
The vast majority of the crowd is Colombian, and they were in the stadium what a good 3 hours before kick-off, and they have never let up.
Whenever any South American team comes to the World Cup, you know you're really in for an atmosphere. They deliver en masse. Straight out of play, applause from head coach Fabio Cannavaro, but he only hands the ball back here to Colombia. Not too far to come to get here. They have been based in Guadalajara, the home of Atlas, actually, the Mexican side. It's only an hour's flight away from here. scenes back in Tashkent as well. We are level here at Mexico City Stadium.
Well, 1-0 is always a dangerous scoreline, but Colombia, since the break, they haven't done enough. You get the sense they probably thought, well, we don't need to do too much more. Maybe we'll get that second goal, maybe we won't. We'll win the game anyway. But I think the changes at half-time, switching Vasiliev from right to left has clearly played dividends, but Shamirodov, his involvement in this goal is outstanding. His link play, and then he does the most important thing, he gets himself into the penalty area. You hand him off, this is a decent cross when he's running out of pitch. And Shamirodov does well to get that shot on target. He's dropping over his shoulder, he's moving away from goal, but he tests the goalkeeper, he forces the mistake from Vargas. But for Vasiliev, he's following it in as well to get the glory. It's an easy finish, but if he's standing on the edge of the box watching, hoping that his striking mate scores, nothing happens. He follows the ball in, gets a break of the ball, and what scenes for Fabio Cannavaro and Uzbekistan. They deserve it from how they played since the break.
Such a highly rated youngster among the Uzbek ranks. He's missed so much of the season with various muscle injuries, but a man who really popped up for them in qualifying, 4 of his 8 goals for his country, helped them get here to these finals, and now he is a man who's wrote himself into the history books as the first man to score a World Cup goal for his country.
It's amazing, isn't it? That's the first 3 touches in the box that Uzbekistan have had in the game, and I said about them being clinical. To the box have really struggled, but on this occasion they do get it in there, and most importantly they score. That's a silly challenge. Puerto clearly playing the man, not the ball. They look rattled, Colombia. They certainly didn't expect this.
Well, their fans are trying to respond by lifting the volume here inside this stadium. The South Africa coach, actually, Hugo Bruce pointed out before their game here against Mexico, ultimately for all of the fans in the stands, it is still 11v11 down on the turf.
You really have to admire the Uzbekistan approach. I thought maybe first 15-20 minutes of the second half is kind of backs to the wall, just don't concede that second goal, but they've taken the game to Colombia, and the changes, certainly on the left-hand side, have had an effect.
Colombia looking to respond and re-establish their lead. Rodriguez. Oh, not clear. Arias. Oh, Suarez didn't get a chance. Arias blocked well. Well, then Lerma with a speculative effort, which does yield the corner.
Well, the ball's played forward by James Rodriguez, and there's no shout for Casanov. Just step over this ball, leave it. He doesn't, he plays it, keeps it alive, but then he responds brilliantly to get the block in. Just everybody playing their part, looking to repel Colombia.
Rodriguez made to wait here. Conversations ongoing inside the penalty area. Talisman ready and waiting. For a goal kick. No damage done. Uzbekistan will only grow in confidence now with every minute that goes by.
As the Shumatov just manages maybe just to flick the ball onto Davinson Sanchez. It's amazing, isn't it? I didn't expect to see this in the second half of the game. It looks like Colombia could do with the hydration breaks, and Néstor Lorenzo can have a word with his team because they've not been good enough, and Fabio Cannavaro must be so proud of his players up to this point.
Momentum switch. Slowly happening here. Just look at what it means to those travelling fans. There were various estimates of how many Uzbek fans would be here. In the USA alone in 2023, there were an estimated 75,000 who live there, who were originally born in Uzbekistan. Now, Puerta on the charge. Good save, but in it goes. Luis Diaz re-establishes Colombia's lead. Uzbekistan can't say they haven't been warned by him tonight. He's been a real live wire. Maybe a slice of fortune as the goalkeeper got hands. He couldn't keep it out. Colombia back in front again.
Well, Uzbekistan are really unhappy. They feel that Shmirkov was actually fouled in the lead up to the goal. I think Yusupov will be so disappointed he's not saved this. The ball gets picked up in midfield. I'm not sure he is fouled. But I think Luis Diaz really shows the goalkeeper where he's putting his ball. Keeper reads it. You know, and he gets down. He just needs a stronger left arm to keep this out. It's not right in the corner. It's savable. And maybe there's just enough pace on it to dribble into the back of the net. But Uzbekistan and their goalkeeper will be so disappointed they've not kept that out.
Well, Luis Diaz with another goal for his country after such a stellar season in Bavaria, in southern Germany. Only Lionel Messi scored more than him in the CONMEBOL qualifiers, 7 across their 18 matches, and now his first here in the World Cup.
Yeah, Luis Diaz, so important to Bayern Munich, so important to Colombia. Tonight made one, scored one, but huge helping hand from the goalkeeper.
Denied, of course, by the post in the first half as well. Just managed to squeeze it inside this time.
Fabio Cannavaro will be so disappointed. You lose that ball in midfield. They were so short in defensive numbers. Just completely overrun. That shouldn't happen. Again, you go back, you get back in the game. On level terms, don't give a cheap goal away like that.
Just plays ever so slightly wide, Luis Diaz. That is 14th goal in his last 33 caps. He certainly chips in.
In that situation, he's never going to kind of adjust his body, take it on his left foot. He's always going to use that stronger right foot because, as I say, it shows the goalkeeper, you know, where he's going to put it. Normally, you kind of start it wide of the post and it's unsavable. That one wasn't. He was moving back towards the keeper. Gets a good hand on it. Should really probably be keeping it out.
He scored in their farewell game in Bogota against Costa Rica on the first day of June. To wave goodbye there, he said hello well and truly to all the Colombia fans inside this stadium. Most of whom now, I'm sure, will expect their side to go on, get the job done. Munoz, who scored the first, will take a long throw here. Looping one. His header. That was looping too. Supov able to backpedal in time. I think it might just have been dropping wide anyway.
Yeah, it was. But again, we just conceded a relatively soft goal. You worry about every ball that comes across your 6-yard box.
Well, problem here with the Uzbek goalkeeper down injured again. Now, this is an interesting situation because this was something that was spoken about ahead of this tournament, about players coming over to the sidelines. Of course, you never quite know whether a goalkeeper is genuinely injured, but he is down here for the second time in this game, and although players can't come across to the sidelines technically, we are now in a hydration break, so it is okay.
Yeah.
And it's tied heading into the break. When the action stops, play between plays with FanDuel Casino. Hit the slots with all your favorite games, including the Huff and Puff collection. Or tap into some FanDuel exclusives like Love Island Unlocked. Plus, spin for glory with FanDuel Soccer Strike. When there's a break in the action, play between plays with exclusive games on FanDuel.
And the second half is underway.
North America's #1 casino and sportsbook.
The world is changing, but with every challenge comes a chance to build better, stronger. We're investing in ourselves, buying Canadian, prospering from our resources and critical minerals. Our plan is to create jobs, build affordable homes twice as fast, break down barriers between provinces, and expand global trade. This is our moment to build a strong economy by Canadians, for Canadians. A message from the Government of Canada.
Every 4 years, we make family traditions. Visa Infinite Plus card to earn C Plus points faster and take your tradition to new places.
Hello, Islanders.
Save big this summer on Crave and watch the latest hit movies, the most talked about series. Plus, watch all Canada matches and finals. Get 40% off with a premium annual plan. Visit crave.ca/subscribe.
Panera's coming.
We are exposing her as weak.
My enemies have been allowed to muster their strength.
So Rosario Central in Argentina. Left winger. There's not too many caps to his name. He's going to come on here. He is going to replace James Rodriguez. What have you made of him tonight?
Well, I think it's pretty clear he's not the player that he was in terms of his physicality, his fitness levels. He can still massively influence games. If games are going like this, you get him on the ball, he still has that ability, but he can't cover the ground as he once did. But the Columbia fans still absolutely love him.
So Campas is on, a tricky winger. He won his first two caps in 2021 and 2023. Returned in March last year to the fold. He gets his chance here in a World Cup.
He's going to operate down the right-hand side. Arias has gone over to the left-hand side with Luis Diaz, looking to play a bit more centrally, maybe partner Luis Suarez. I think for all these Colombian attackers, you can have kind of really think they're playing set positions. They don't when they have the ball. Most of them are on the move.
Just over 20 minutes to go, including added time. Still a lot of football to be played. Uzbekistan have arguably their toughest game to come in Houston next Tuesday as they play against Portugal. As the Congo showed earlier today, it's possible to get a result out of them despite their stellar lineup. It's back here with Vargas. Neither goalkeeper covering themselves in glory in this second half so far. Maybe a chance here. Campas will get it back here. Just couldn't find a way across, but the offside flag now goes up anyway. Kusanov and co really have their work cut out right now.
Yeah, Kusanov didn't know the flag was coming, so it's a really good intercept. See what Campas is looking to do. He's got two teammates at the far post. He's looking to pick out, but so they're probably going to have to take a few risks now. Uzbekistan commit bodies forward. They're maybe going to get caught on the counter-attack because Colombia have these dynamic, quick players who can break at you very, very quickly.
Long high clip ball looking for Sofia. Campas has made an instant impression. There's pace and direct running. For me, quite expecting it like that then, Mojica. Free kick Colombia. Chinese howling for it and they got the decision.
Yeah, it's really good play, Luis Diaz. He just gets his body in between the defender and the ball. Just draws the foul from Kusanov. He's so desperate to get to the ball, he fouls his man. That's really good attacking positioning, body positioning from Luis Diaz.
Conversation after the decision, but it will be a chance to deliver here for Colombia. You just feel they need that third goal to kill this one off and give themselves that opening 3 points that they crave. Linders with the opener 4 minutes before the break. Rosaliev with the equaliser 15 minutes into the second half, but a leveller kept them at 1-1 for this 4.5 minutes or so before Luis Diaz that struck. Arias. Too high. What do you make of the composition of the group now, given the result that Portugal had earlier? Colombia at the moment on the way to 3 points, but that result for Roberto Martinez's side, or lack of result as they would see it at least, leaves things a little bit in the balance.
Yeah, I think it's all important to win that opening group game. It just gives you a bit of breathing space to relax a little bit more. So I think Colombia, when they saw Portugal draw that game, they wouldn't have expected that. Maybe it just gives them that extra bit of a lift going into this one. Still, again, these so-called lesser nations are causing fancy teams real problems as well. And again, here, Colombia has not been straightforward at all.
Waiting in the wings here. This is Beckham Monov. It's going to be one of 2 changes here for Uzbekistan. Rustam Shermatov, who has been down there, he's going to come off. So here, Rozov will come on at centre half. When he made his debut in a friendly against Gabon in March this year, the FIFA series. Rosalaya also coming off in the attacking position.
Here once again, Fabio Cannavaro just freshening up that left-hand side. Shermatov was starting to look a little bit laboured, starting to tire, so that's a defensive change that makes sense.
Who's come on, a centre forward by trade, plays for Dinamo Samarkand in Uzbekistan, winner of 3 league titles domestically. She only joined his club in December as he left Bukhara. Diaz. Turning with his cross. Munoz just trying to slide it down the line to keep it in play, but the wrong side of the line for him. The Colombian coach was backing his side yesterday in his press conference. They played a friendly against France at the end of March and said they might have lost that one by 3 goals to 1, but big periods of that game he thought his side lashed Didier Deschamps' men. Now we're about to make a double change here. Richard Rios will come on into midfield, and looks like Juan Camilo Hernandez will also be introduced here. Sanchez had to get that header right. Did to find Munoz. Suarez going down. The referee. A crowd of 8,824 inside Mexico City Stadium here tonight. Not quite the crowds of over 110,000 they used to have here once upon a time, but this place really packs a punch. So in the withdrawal here of Donnelly Puerta, but Suarez as well. Richard Rios of Benfica will go and slot into the middle. Now Betisman, Juan Camilo Hernandez, and known as Cucho. Season scoring-wise, 11 in the league, 15 in all competitions. So that is in part to Champions League football next season in Seville. Munoz went down there, looks towards the referee thinking that
decision. It's a poor challenge. It's not really that reckless. It's not dangerous at all. So I think the referee does a good job. It just says, Columbia players, look, leave it to me. Let's just get on with the game.
Lukumi. Hernandez. Slightly short. Maybe some signs of time are starting to set in here for Uzbekistan. Rios. Of course, have such a hold in the South American market. He's over the bar. It was last year after a really solid outing at the
Wild swipe at the ball here from Mahika. Just think it opens up for him. He has options. Decides to go for glory, but he's way.
It's been a little bit stop-start in this second half. Short in the end by Uzbekistan. Thought well by Moscovoy. Shukurov. Uzbekistan stretching the pitch far and wide at the moment. Trying to find gaps and they've struggled to do so far. Very quickly taken there by Saifiev, but referee Taylor ordering a retake. Rozov with his throw. Players starting to gather, which means this is going to be launched. He's got some distance on it too. Challenge with there. Super done. Achievement for his side is to show the people our character and philosophy. Willing to actual position on it in terms of whether we're going to finish in the group or even in the knockout stages. Taking the first team from Asia to reach the knockouts in their first appearance in Saudi Arabia back in 1994. By Shukurov, but didn't quite get his angles right there.
The set plays haven't been perfect. A couple of occasions now they've just overhit the ball into the box. We need to get that right if they are to get that second equaliser.
Columbia closing in on a space at the top of the group for them.
Time is running out, but Uzbekistan, but Columbia clearly just looking to get that third goal to secure the win. I think if you ask the club fans, Uzbek fans as well, after 85 minutes or so, what would this be? I don't think too many would have expected 2-1.
Referee is having to take the ball away from behind the goal there because it can interfere with the technology which is used in all the matches here in the World Cup. Rozov and Sanchez getting well acquainted. 1-1. Uzbekistan just about able to get it away, but Arias comes back, reset! Into the side netting again, not for the first time today. points. To throw in Owen. Let's enjoy that. And pass. Really there, Flores in the middle. Campas getting stuck in again. Really tenacious play. Campas! He's offered so much off the bench so far, but the finish was lacking.
That's all you can do. You can't sulk when you're not named in the starting 11. Can he have an impact when he go on? And ball at his feet, he's looked dangerous, really aggressive there as well. Crossing that Uzbek back line, winning the ball back. See what he's trying to do, just the execution wasn't quite right.
Salah. So pretty built his career so far. He got a move to Nantes in France after impressing at the under-20 version. So a very quick rise to prominence. Last season playing under Guardiola at Manchester City. They'll have a new coach next season at club level. Here, Uzbekistan, but the ball to them. It's the hardest part. Plenty in there now. Plenty behind there as it was hit by Abdamov. It's a corner.
This is where Uzbekistan want to be, need to be. Time running out.
Himself into Uzbek folklore by scoring their first ever World Cup goal. If someone could score here and pinch a point, they really would be a national hero. Some delay before this set play.
Absolutely right, slightly overhits it. It's going to go flying beyond the far post.
Really a second job at international level for Fabio Cannavaro. He previously had a two-match in charge of China back in 2019, but he eventually stepped down because he was also in charge of Guangzhou Evergrande at the time. Decided that he wanted to concentrate on one job instead of two, which I think is fair enough.
Just being greedy, isn't it? This game might end in defeat. I think they've shown the world again the strides that they've made and just how aggressive and mature his team can be.
Zefiev. One off. It's not really well so far. That's a fine kick out as well. Top from Moscovoy. Oh, what a chance for Uzbekistan. With time fast running out, that could have been the moment.
It does so well because the ball has really zipped into his feet. His first touch is excellent. Adjusts his body. See what he's trying to do, just drop it into that top corner. Just gets underneath him slightly too much. That's a great chance. Again, just underlines how Uzbekistan have taken the game throughout the game, certainly in the second half, to Columbia.
He's only scored once for his country before against Uzbekistan in the CAFA Nations Cup in September last year. That would have been a career highlight for him. 8 minutes of added time. Music to the ears of Uzbek fans here and back home. Get the feeling they might have one more opening, but they are going to have to take it.
expect to be in this position. I just don't think they've done enough, created enough. Give Uzbekistan a huge amount of credit for how they've been organised, and the changes have kind of had an effect. I mean, it's so positive in the second half, and that is easy at your first World Cup against this type of team.
Players restarted, but 3 players are waiting to come on as subs for the 2 teams combined. Molov on the right this side. Shakurov. Columbia just about hanging on here against the debutants. Safiev in. Oh, they can't clear. Was there an arm use there? Somehow Vargas keeps a hold of it. Columbia retain their lead, but only just.
It's a wonderful cross from Safiev right into that danger zone between backline and goalkeeper.
Well, Mr. Lorenzo was talking about managing the anxiety of the Colombian fans. They're really feeling it right now.
It's such a difficult ball to deal with. It's just that the flick on from Handabov as well causes the problem. I don't think it does actually strike an arm. It's Ariasu. He's strong. He's in a good defensive position ahead of Shomorodov.
Luis Diaz's number has come up here. He does have the time until the second change made to get off the field. Don Arias is also making way, so 2 of their key attacking talents making way for the final minutes here. They've just got off in time. Of course, if you don't get off in the 10 seconds these days, then you do have to wait a minute at least before your replacement can come on. Andres Gomez of Vasco da Gama has come on there, as well as Kevin Castaño of River Plate. Holding midfielder. Still a bit more solidity in the remaining seconds. Nicely by Moscovoy, who's been more and more involved since the break. It's a delightful ball in there as well, but no one able to throw themselves at it.
It shows you how well Cannavaro's team have done, how they're pressing here, that Columbia have been forced to take off 2 of their attacking danger men, and Arias Diaz just to shore things up, just to make absolutely sure that Columbia win the game.
Well, even if they lose here, they will be proud of their side, who've given absolutely everything here. I think many neutrals looking on would have expected a bigger margin of victory for Colombia. As this World Cup has shown so far, as this group has shown so far, nothing can be taken for granted.
Yeah, sides that we really expected to start well, like Spain and Portugal, maybe Colombia as well. They've had a struggle, but Colombia, I think the most important thing is just win the game.
It's Uzbekistan who are pressing late on, trying to spring a surprise. Making a run here is Hernandez. Rios going past him. Colombia do get a throw just about the final third and trying to put their fans in, try to push them over the line. Not quite as comfortable as it might have been for his side. He was a World Cup runner-up for Argentina back in 1990. Will really have to go some to get his side anywhere near the final here. But they have shown glimpses in this match so far of the threats they have, particularly in attack.
Yeah, the win is to be a win. Colombia's not been emphatic with Portugal drawing. It was so important that Colombia got the 3 points in this game. It looks like they're just about going to make it.
Watching 80,000, the vast majority of whistling every touch here for Uzbekistan, trying to play their part. Shukurov. Looks for the button, doesn't quite have the distance on it. Tearing around the field, trying to put Uzbekistan under pressure, but to their credit, side ranked 50 in the world, just about keeping their nerve here. been so loud all evening. Just about as quiet as it's been because they are so nervous.
It's really a tackle of frustration there for Munoz, just plastering Moscovoy. Just pass pressure on defence. Just stay on your feet. Force Moscovoy, Uzbekistan backwards. Don't give it away a cheap free kick like that.
This might be it now. Just over a minute to go of added time. Is beyond everyone. With that, Uzbekistan's chance might just have evaporated.
There's the set-piece story in the second half. Uzbekistan, they've wasted so many decent opportunities.
Players coming together as tensions get high. Dusanov has to be careful, of course. He has already been yellow carded. Same on command of the Uzbek language. Isn't what it used to be, but I don't think Dusanov too impressed there.
We'll have to apologise to some lip readers there. I don't think he was very happy with maybe a Columbia player or two. A few words out of place. Dusanov wasn't happy.
Vargas as long as he can go. Rios goes up and a header won by Uruzov. Mojica up but not forward. This was Sanchez. Anywhere will do at the moment. Well, I might get more of that. Hernandez. It's a great effort. That's tremendous play. And a cross as well to finish it. Seals the deal, and it is 3 points on their opening night. Nestor Valento's side get over the line, but only just.
Well, it's incredibly harsh on Uzbekistan. They don't deserve this, but what outstanding play from Hernandez. He's a centre forward. You judge on the goals that you score, but it's not just about that. The supply here, the work to actually secure the ball in the first place is brilliant. The cross, I think, is one of the best you're going to see in this tournament. It is pinpoint in its accuracy, but he's chasing lost causes here. It's a physical mismatch. He doesn't give up. He's on the floor. He's up again. He just keeps going, keeps the ball in play. I just thought he was going to head for the corner flag. But what about this for a cross? Quite unbelievable. Campas giving credit, he's expecting a decent ball in and he finishes it brilliantly, but the work from Hernandez to create it is just outstanding.
Just a second international goal for Campas and a smile so wide. His first against France in a friendly in March. This one means so much more. And for many people waking up maybe to see the scoreline tomorrow, they might think this has been a more comfortable affair than it actually has been.
Just go back to the opportunity for Moscovoy, got the ball out of his feet, put it over the crossbar looking for the top corner, could have been 2-2. But now Campas has taken the game away from Uzbekistan.
We're well past the allotted 8 minutes. Off the bar! That would have been a goal of the tournament contender right there. The margin's so fine in this sport we love and cherish so much. It will count for very little. What a balmy game it's been here. And what a hit there by Karimov, the 18-year-old. Full time, it's over. Colombia winners. Uzbekistan devastated. They contributed so much to this riveting game of football that, as is so often the case on the biggest stage, it can be a matter of fine margins. They will pick themselves up, no doubt about that, but Colombia the winners. Diaz with the ultimate winning goal, but Campas made his save deep into added time. It's finished Uzbekistan 1, Colombia 3.
by BMO, official Bank of Canada Soccer, and what a World Cup debut it was for Luis Diaz.
It was unbelievable. He was just the provider, scoring goals. He did absolutely everything. He even hit the post in the first half. He was instrumental throughout the match. I thought he was brilliant tonight, and he showed the class that he has.
Continuing just a great season that saw him score 21 goals for Bayern Munich. He's the first player in this year's World Cup to have a goal and an assist, and as Jimmy pointed out, hit the woodwork all in one match. So Luis Diaz leading the way as Colombia earns their first victory since June 28th of 2018. That was a 1-0 victory over Senegal. Our electric play of the game is presented by Hyundai. Next starts now, and it comes from the first half.
Yeah, it was brilliant football all around, wasn't it? Again, Luis Diaz getting on the ball. Munoz makes a great run, just points exactly where he wants it to pinpoint ball right into the path of him. Munoz ends up just flicking it over top of the keeper. But again, great play, and I guess Diaz is well involved.
Yeah, he was all over the place, but a nice finish there by Daniel Munoz, who has his fourth international goal and first since Copa America.
And with more insights, you always know where your money's going. Turns out, I'm terrible at soccer, so let's switch back for the second half. Come on, how bad could it be? It's pretty bad. Paint. Sweat. Cheers. Rinse. Repeat. Care for your skin like you care for the game with Dove Men.
It's my party, you're invited, and all your friends too. You don't have to knock. You can. It's looking great while doing it. And Sophia is sporty. Very sporty. When she's not on the field, she's gaming on it. Yes! All five get what they want in the EV5. And a little more. Kia. Movement that inspires.
Guys, I hate to break it to you, but we don't have enough lace for the game.
Let's go to the store then.
We cannot go in there. It's 2-pack.
Just 2-pack.
Hi, how you doing? We were having an awesome viewing party, and if you had lace, you can come with us.
Chips?
No lace, no game. Hello! Trying to get the whole card. Welcome. Grab the door.
Got snacks. Real Canadian Superstore. A whole world and more.
What if you could print every idea to life? Print your possible at vistaprint.ca. Mira.
Thank you. Please be back, Ellen. Please be back. Grimace. Already got 7.
Collect one of 7 legendary cups with the FIFA World Cup deal. See McDonald's.ca for qualifying meals.
How often do you get to cheer for Canada on home turf? How bad is it? Oh, no! I'm so sorry.
FIFA World Cup 2026 on TSN is presented by Hyundai. As a proud partner of the FIFA World Cup 2026, Hyundai is driving the game and the world forward. Next starts now. FanDuel Casino. When the action stops, play between plays with your favorite games. Bell. Switch to Canada's fastest 5G network and get 3 months of TSN on us. And by by President's Choice. Make every day more rewarding. Score PC Optimum points on game day essentials. Possible lives here.
One tonight at Mexico City Stadium, where in the 32nd minute it was John Arias with a beautiful ball for Luis Diaz, but his effort goes off the post and then off the keeper and out. The 16th time that the woodwork has been struck in this World Cup already. 41st minute though, it's Diaz sending a ball over the top, and Daniel Munoz with an incredible touch to send it to the back of the line. A perfectly timed run and jump to open the scoring. 61st minute, Uzbekistan on the attack. Elder Shamirov's volley is stopped, but Bozbek Feyzulov scores a historic goal for Uzbekistan, their first at a World Cup. But 5 minutes later, it's Diaz with the shot. Utker Yusupov gets a piece of it, but not enough. As the ball rolls over the line, as Colombia is back in front by a goal. And then, as we just saw, deep into stoppage time, Cucho Hernandez refuses to quit on the play here, provides a fantastic cross. And eventually, it's headed in by Jamitin Campaz. This is unbelievable, Jimmy.
Oh, it was incredible. Just right there at this moment, I'm thinking, okay, he's going to the corner flag. He's going to just kill the time. But he gets his head up, sees Campaz at the far post, decides to whip it in. And what a finish that was.
It's one of those plays where if you're a coach, you're going, what are you doing? What are you doing? Okay, we'll take it. We'll take the effort.
Exactly.
We'll take it. And Colombia will take it. 3-1 the final. Welcome you back inside our World Cup studio, Marco, alongside Jimmy Brennan. So Colombia comes in with high expectations in this tournament. They expect to get out of the group at least and make a run in the knockout stage. Just by going off this one match, it seems like they are prepared to do that in this tournament.
Look, I thought the first half, they were brilliant. And what they have, 74% possession. They had plenty of shots. They controlled the attack. Uzbekistan didn't cause them any problems whatsoever in that first half. But I think what ended up happening was going into the second, they felt a little bit too confident, didn't they? And they, in a way, they kind of let themselves down a little bit, and they allowed Uzbekistan to get back into the match. But the first half, I thought they were terrific. I mean, this one in the second half here, what a great ball that is. Just a little layoff for Diaz. He opens up his body and places it in the corner. And again, we talked about this at halftime, just how hungry the Colombian players were and how they attacked in numbers. Again, winning the ball in a great area. As soon as they did get it, it was let's go. They went with numbers, went with pace, went with power. And obviously finished off.
It's almost like the Uzbekistan goal was obviously good for Uzbekistan because it's a historic one, but it was also good for Colombia to kind of get back and get focused into the match. And, you know, they don't need the third, well, they might need the third goal and goal differential, but just go through how difficult this is to do, to hustle down the line the way that Hernandez does, and to fall down, get back up, win the ball, and then put on a cross that goes, you know, all the way, that connects into a goal. As a player, there's very few players that can probably pull this off.
Look, I'll tell you this for free. 99% of people in the game would have said, what are you doing? There's no chance this guy's going to cross 30 seconds and see what he can do. He did all the hard work, ran the channel, used his body well, fought tooth and nail to get the ball.
You're exhausted here.
And this is where everybody's going. He's going to the corner flag, game's over. But he decides to get his head up, have a look, sit in perfectly onto Campas's head. Now, I'm almost certain the manager would be thinking, what are you doing right now? Because if the keeper does catch it, it's coming back the other way.
Right.
But, I mean, listen, the guy's got confidence in himself in order to do that.
So Colombia, they add to their lead there. They get the victory 3-1. Just want to touch on Uzbekistan a bit, because for the second straight night, we're talking about a country making their debut in the World Cup and getting a goal. And it's Feyzulov who gets a goal that, as you pointed out a little bit, maybe catches Colombia by surprise. But just for the country, for the program, what is that moment like for them?
Listen, I think it was a wonderful moment. They never let themselves down tonight. I thought it was a great performance from them. Yes, first half they were on the ropes. And I always say, listen, at times like that, it's a learning experience. This is your first World Cup. You're experiencing playing against a Colombian side who's absolutely brilliant at the moment. got some world-class players that's in this lineup, and they dealt with it. They dealt with it for 45 minutes, but it was almost kind of like Uzbekistan said, okay, we've taken all your punches, we know what you've got, but now we're going to start coming forward. And I think that caught Colombia by surprise as well, thinking, how are they coming on the front foot now, and why are they coming at us? And the game kind of went back and forth a little bit, didn't it? But with Uzbekistan looking at this performance tonight, they have to be proud. First World Cup match, they've scored a goal playing against Colombia. I think they'll be delighted, especially with the second half performance.
Well, and as Canadians, we can relate, because 4 years ago, we celebrated, as we should, the Alphonso Davies goal, the first in the country's history at the World Cup. And you take a look at Jordan last night, Uzbekistan tonight, Curacao against Germany early in scoring goals in their first match ever at the World Cup. And then the only team making their debut that hasn't scored is Capo Verde. And they earned a draw against Spain. Like, it's a remarkable story for those four nations as they're just dipping their toe into the World Cup at this point.
No, it really is. You look at these teams, and I think at the beginning of the tournament, everybody was saying, oh, these are the teams that are, they're going to struggle. Right. It's going to be blowouts. Now, we talk about Curacao. You're playing one of the giants in world football. You score a goal against them, and you're coming from a nation with, 180,000 people?
Yeah.
Tiny. And for them, they enjoyed that moment. It was wonderful to see them get a goal. Then you're looking at the other team. Capo Verde tying Spain. Who would have thought that? Everybody thought Spain's going to go after them. We covered the game with Austria and Jordan, and that game was brilliant. I thought Jordan was very, very good. They played entertaining football. It was quick. There was a tempo to the game. I don't think any of these teams, and Uzbekistan, none of them really can put their heads down and say, oh yeah, we were embarrassed today and we didn't really enjoy that.
Okay, well, it's every country now has played a match, so a lot to take in, and we're going to get your thoughts on if you do like this expanded format a little bit later in our post-match show. But earlier today, Portugal and Congo played to a draw, which means Colombia sits atop the Group K table with this victory, earning 3 points. Uzbekistan sitting in 4th place. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to check in on Canada ahead of their match against Qatar as the Colombians continue to celebrate their victory in Mexico City.
Side, but the defenders are there. There is space over to the left. What a ball. A precision pass floating across to the left.
Where is he? 10 seconds before the whistle, and you think this is a good time to fill it at Seabass? Really, Terry? Come on.
Just grab it back to the game.
Just get them delivered, you donut.
What are you doing?
You need to leave. Gordon Ramsay.
Who could cook at a time like this with hundreds of deals on Uber Eats?
Do you call it soccer or do you call it football?
Really?
You're right, who gives a... It doesn't matter what you call it. 90 minutes is what matters. The odds matter. The next goal. The same game parlay. When you bet matters. Soccer or football? Move on. Because the beautiful game has a million shifting factors. Canada's premier betting destination for the world's game. Bet with Sports Interaction.
The best stories pull you in so deep, you find yourself going back to that moment where it all began. Because once you start, everything changes.
I have made some mistakes.
Pressing right. The line was crossed.
Oh, there's no turning back. Have it all with Hulu on Disney+.
The FIFA World Cup 2026 has finally arrived in Canada.
That's when he knew he could share the flavor of Fuse iced tea with every fan. With the fans that go the distance. The fans who bring the noise.
The street fans are drinking it in.
And the fans who just want a taste of the action. Fuse iced tea. It's the flavor.
There's dreaming about it, and then there's experience. Amex Platinum. The trip you imagined becomes unimaginably real. You're seated at the hottest table in town. And just like that, you've scored access to pre-sale tickets and you're singing every word. For a life like no other, you need a card like no other. There's nothing like Amex.
Brian, Cusack.
James, Ellie's dad.
Hey, buddy.
We're less than 24 hours away from BC Place Vancouver hosting its next World Cup match, and it's a big one with Canada taking on Qatar. You'll be able to see that at 6 Eastern, 3 Pacific here on TSN, CTV, and Crave. With the latest from Vancouver, here's James Dunn.
Thank you. Inside BC Place, where it will be absolute mayhem on Thursday afternoon. 52,000 plus, desperately hoping to see Canada's first ever World Cup win. And they will never have a better opportunity in their lifetime. This crazy home crowd, sizable favorites, and a chance to perhaps lock up a spot in the round of 32. And oh yes, a captain available to play for the first time in a very long time. Here's Matthew Shinetti.
James, over the last few weeks, Canada has been forthcoming with daily injury updates. But on Wednesday, Jesse Marsh says he will no longer be that transparent during the rest of the tournament to avoid giving opponents extra information. But the day before the next biggest game in the history of the men's program, well, Jesse Marsh was nevertheless candid. Alfie Jones is out of Thursday's game with a muscle injury, and we don't know when we'll see him again. But Jesse Marsh says Moise Bombito and Alphonso Davies will be available to play if Canada needs them.
They're different injuries, right? Moise is a long-term injury, but he's now like coming out the end of that long-term injury. And you know, even Ismail and I were talking on the way here on the fact that this week looked amazing and looked more like himself, and how encouraging that is for all of us, because we know how good Moise is. And when he's at his best, I think he's a big factor in how good the potential of this team can be. And then Alphonso, I think it's just trying, you know, we've worked really closely with his physio and Matthias, and we've all, I think, we've worked really well through this, and Alfonso's looking really good, right? And so it's just a matter of, okay, what kind of game is it? What kind of moment is it? And how do we feel Alphonso can contribute right now? So, but you know, he's ready. He'll be available. We know that given our group being so tight right now, that every moment and every point matters, and we're focused on that. We're not trying to be overly magnanimous. We're just focused on the match and about Qatar and what they're good at and what we want to try to limit from them and how we want the game to look.
After Jesse Marsh started Tani Oluwaseyi over Kyle Larin as Jonathan David's strike partner against Bosnia and Herzegovina last Friday, well, Jesse Marsh certainly got a goal-scoring reaction out of Kyle Larin when Larin came on as a second-half substitute. And on Wednesday, Marsh tried to explain how he tailors his strike partnership to specific opponents. Now, that might apply to one striker. It doesn't apply to Jonathan David, because David does so many things in Marsh's system, and that's not going to change. However, Marsh was critical of David last Friday, saying it wasn't his best game in Canada's first group stage game, and he subbed David out in the 61st minute. But on Wednesday, Marsh thoroughly praised his star striker. Quote, he will score, he has scored, and he won't stop scoring. James, if there is one player Canada absolutely needs come Thursday, it's Jonathan David.
Okay, alongside the former Canadian captain, Julian de Guzman. So two very positive pieces of news on the injury front, that Alphonso Davies is available to play really for the first time in 15 months for the Canadian side, and that Moise Bombito has looked, in Jesse Marsh's words, amazing all week and could be 100% for the Switzerland game. Do you think we'll see either Davies or Bombito in some capacity against Qatar, and what would those situations be if we did see them?
Listen, it's always good news when you hear that, you know, your top players are available and ready to give you minutes in a very important match, probably the most important match for Canada soccer in terms of a World Cup. So, you look at those two players and the value they could give you just coming off of a bench, it's great news. However, in my opinion, I don't see those guys ready to give any valuable minutes given the type of injuries they've had, even the type of training. A guy like Alphonso Davies hasn't really been fully involved in high-intensity training. The return to play probably would need still a week's time until he could give you maybe 30 minutes. But in a match like Qatar where you need somebody to be a difference maker, and these two type of players, they're based on sprinting. They have high-intensity sprints in their games as a fullback, as a center back, and this is going to be a high-intensity game where you're going to need the best of the best and guys at 100%. So Alphonso Davies ready? I don't think he's fully ready to give you minutes tomorrow. Right. And Moises Bombito, for me, hasn't really been involved in full training, nor has he played valuable minutes at his club to get him international minutes.
What about with a lead when he'll put on a third center back, say with 15 minutes left, Alfie Jones is out? Might that be a situation where you could see Bombito?
Joe Waterman's probably the fittest out of the bunch coming off the bench. Bombito still probably not ready to give you those minutes. So, listen, it's great to have the optics and the visuals of these guys on the bench smiling, having a good time. They're bringing energy. They're having a strong connection with the group, and there's a high respect for those guys, and they want to be around for sure. But the reality is, at a high-level intensity match like the World Cup, without minutes from your club and going into a match like that, I highly doubt we will see Moises Bombito ready.
Jesse Marsh did not want to give anything away as far as his starting strikers, but do you believe, as most do, and if you listen to what Jesse said, it sounds like Jonathan David will start again?
I mean, that's the push that we need to see, from Jonathan David, where go into a match and get confidence, go into a match and get goals. This is our most important goal scorer for the national team, and he hasn't been in top form right now. He hasn't been in top form from his club. He hasn't shown top form in the last match against Bosnia, but it's a matter of confidence. And listen, he's been in situations where there's been high pressure for him to perform, and he showed up, and he does have a lot of goals in his account left in this World Cup, I would say. So the moment he scores that one goal, I feel then you'll start to see the confidence build up. You'll start to see the goals pour in.
Right.
But we could talk about Kyle Larin now performing very well towards the end of the Bosnia game, and he also deserves a start. So there's always a question mark as to what suits the identity of what Jesse Marsh wants, and his identity is intensity, and you need to be an intense striker who likes to press, and the only striker, in my opinion, that does that is Tani, and that's the reason why he's able to be on the field to do the dirty work for a striker, to make whether it's a Jonathan David next to him better, or perhaps a Kyle Larin next to him better.
And quickly, Jesse also asked if this was the biggest game in the history of the men's program, and he kind of hummed and hawed and mentioned the Copa semifinals, which was big, and the games in Qatar, which were big, but he's not fooling anybody. Julian, this is the biggest game in the history of the men's program.
It's a final tomorrow. It is a final, and this is where everybody has to be their absolute best. We understand the pressure. We understand, what this will mean for the country to get a first World Cup win, and also talk about getting to the next group stage, or the next round of knockouts. So I think it's important to recognize the importance of this match tomorrow.
Right.
It's a home match, and in front of 50,000+ Canadian fans, this is the biggest match in the history of Canadian soccer.
And he sent a message to the Canadian fans wanting to all wear red, to be super loud, be that 12th man. Jesse, I don't think they needed a reminder. They will be here and they will be loud.
Yeah, you can count on that. As we take a look at the recent history for this Canadian program, 8-1-9 over the last 18 matches, so just the one loss, 10 clean sheets. They would love another clean sheet tomorrow against Qatar. Much of the narrative and the oxygen was spent on Moise Bombito and Alphonso Davies today, Jimmy, because that's what we do with this team. And every day we're getting updates, but we're not sure how much of an update. Let's start with Alphonso Davies. And Julian de Guzman clearly agrees with you. You said it yesterday. Tomorrow, you got to treat it like a final. So if Davies is healthy, he's got to play tomorrow, right?
100%. Look, if the medical staff turned around and said, hey, listen, he can give you 30 minutes. He can't last 90 minutes because his fitness levels aren't there, but he can give you 30. Then for me, at some point in the match, Alphonso Davies has got to come on. Now, if you're winning 3-0 and you're cruising, not a problem. Okay, save him to the next game, give him a couple more days to get going again. But for this match, because of the importance behind it, we need 3 points. This is a must-win match. And if Alphonso's ready and the match is really tight, you have to bring him on at some point.
The situation with Bombito, the nature of his position, the nature of the injury is a little different. how does Bombito get back into a match if he is, and we're taking the words from Jesse March, 100% or at least close to it?
Well, I think with that situation, if you need to close the game out, you need another center back on in the last 10 minutes or so, you end up putting him on. Can you start him? No, you can't start him. Now, it's very rare that you end up taking off one of your center backs during a match, unless he's having a terrible match and he's losing his individual battle. But for the most part, you're not going to use him unless an injury comes up or it's a tactical change where you have to bring an extra body on. For me, Bombito is probably the best center back that we have. That number one pairing that we always talked about with Bombito and Cornelius, that's the two that people want to see together. But Luke has come in and he's done a terrific job. So, in my opinion, right now, the way that Luke and Cornelius are playing, you leave them alone, and then if we need to bring on Bombito at some point, then you bring him on.
But at some point, you need to know what you have with Bombito, because you don't want to take that risk if you do get to the knockout stage, to start him in a round of 32 and go, we'll see what, and after 20 minutes, if he doesn't have it, then that's an early sub that you don't want to have to make.
No, that's true. But I mean, look, at the end of the day, we've got to get there first.
Yeah.
So the job has to get done.
Okay. One guy that we do know is going to play tomorrow is Ismail Kone, which is a good thing given what we saw against Bosnia and Herzegovina, given what we saw in that friendly against Ireland, and that all comes after he was called out by his coach, Jesse Marsh, for his performance against Uzbekistan in the friendly in Edmonton.
That's tough love. And managers need to be like that sometimes. They can't sugarcoat things and give you the hugs all the time that you need. Sometimes they got to tell you flat out, it's not good enough.
Well, and he has a special relationship with Cody too, right?
Exactly.
Being in Italy, seeing him a lot, and knowing what he can do. We saw it in Copa America at the highest level.
Yeah, exactly. And that's where Cody understands that as well. He's got a personal relationship with the manager, and if the manager's not happy, he's going to tell him. And Cody's got to be able to accept it, like a young man, which he did. And then how did he react? Well, his performances speak for themselves. He is the best midfielder that we have that can go box to box. He's the type of player that wants to get on the ball. He can break things up. He can defend well. He can drive at defenders to draw them in and slip people in. He's an all-round midfielder for me, and he's an individual that we need in this national team because he's first class in my opinion.
How much does the game plan change from Bosnia-Herzegovina to Qatar and trying to get more offense out of this squad that has had difficulty finishing these chances?
Well, listen, Qatar's going to do the exact same thing. They're going to bunker in. They're going to make it very difficult. We saw in the last match, they're going to have more or less 6 across the back, and they're going to have a lot of bodies in and around the box. We saw certain spots in the last game against Bosnia where we played quick football. The movement was very good. Richie Larea getting in behind and other players as well. So that tempo has got to be lifted in that final third. The movement's got to be very good. There's got to be unselfish runs, but it's everything that we do has to be precise in and around the box in order for us to get those opportunities and create goals.
And wore down the opponent. Like,
wear them down.
Canada would have loved an extra 10 minutes on that match, and maybe they do score the second goal and get the victory. But we are, to put it mildly, looking forward to this one as Canada faces Qatar from BC Place, Vancouver tomorrow at 6 Eastern, 3 Pacific. I have said that now probably 100 times over the last week. And yes, you can see it on TSN, CTV, and Crave. Let's hear it now from Claire Hanna, who caught up with Qatar's coach, Julian Lopetegui.
Julian, with Group B wide open and every team collecting a point in their first match, how do you ensure that Qatar advances?
I think that the first match was history for us, for sure. In the same way that to come here to achieve our place here was historic. And now, but it's a past. We played 4 days ago, and we are focused to be able to be competitive tomorrow against one very strong team, as is Canada. Physically, technically, they play at home with the support of 55,000 persons. So for us, it will be a big and strong experience. We have to be ready to be the more competitive possible and to be focused, because the demanding is going to be very, very high tomorrow, for sure.
Earlier this week, you said that Canada is a better team than us. When you watched their match against Bosnia and Herzegovina, what did you notice about Canada's style of play?
No, sure. Canada is playing from the top players. They play most of them in the best team in Europe. So I think that we will face, but not only Canada, Switzerland and Bosnia, but Canada, I think, is from these three teams is more different about the kind of play that they do, the rhythm that they have, the aggressivity. They are technically very good players, physically too. So, but we have to put the focus. Let's see, I don't know. Thank you.
All right, no one's giving us answers at this point, right? This is the look at the Group B schedule as Canada faces Qatar. Tomorrow they wrap up the group stage against Switzerland. Both of those matches will be played in Vancouver at BC Place. Before the Canada match tomorrow, Switzerland will take on Bosnia and Herzegovina. Are we going to... it's weird calling a Swiss team an angry team because you think of the Swiss obviously being neutral. Won it after a draw against Qatar?
Yeah, I would imagine they're going to look to get at Bosnia. Obviously, they probably feel they've got a little bit embarrassed playing against Qatar and not winning the match, which they felt they should have. But it will be a good match. And listen, nothing's going to come easy against Bosnia. They're a decent side. They defend well, and they're going to wait for their opportunities to go forward, which they will. So it won't be an easy match for the Swiss.
And that is a match where it helps Canada. Switzerland gets at least a point, or if they do win, I think the bad case is if Bosnia, with a shocker, beat Switzerland. Meanwhile, with more from the Swiss side, let's join Camila Gonzalez.
Today's Matchday -1 press conference gave us a clearer picture on what to expect from Switzerland ahead of their crucial match against Bosnia and Herzegovina. First, an injury update. Mira Muheim did not train with the team and he will not be available for tomorrow's match. Now, both coach Murat Yakin and Remo Freuler said that the disappointment after the draw against Qatar was still lingering. Freuler said that the day after the match was a difficult day for the team and they were frustrated to have dropped 2 points. The main conversation, though, was all about tactical decisions. We've been hearing this around base camp all week, and Murat Yakin himself confirmed that he himself was questioning some of the decisions. Now, he insisted that he was happy with the performance from the starting 11 and the veterans and the experience that they brought in the first half, but he was questioning some of those changes that he made, and he didn't confirm that anything would be changed, but he suggested that there is still quite a lot of decisions to be made ahead of kickoff.
I do have a few possibilities. I have versatile players. I can even, during the match, decide to do things differently because we have the experience within the team. Now, if we concede a goal, then obviously I take it very hard on myself. And I blame myself. It's not my players' fault, it's more my fault.
You have to stay easy because it's the first game of 3. We have still two games to go. We have a lot to win. But we have also a lot to lose, but that we know. But the message to the young guys, we have now 1 point. We need other points, but we have to stay focused on our game, of our game style, how we play, and then I'm sure that we can create again problems to the other teams.
Tomorrow's match will also be a special one for Remo Freuler, who will make his 90th appearance for the Switzerland national team, and he acknowledged himself that this could easily be his final World Cup, which means that if they don't perform well against Bosnia, he could also be playing in his final 2 matches in football's biggest stage. So at the end of the day, that air of optimism and confidence that we were seeing earlier on from Switzerland has now turned into a sense of urgency, and tomorrow's 2 matches could change absolutely everything in Group B. But one thing is for sure, Switzerland do not see Bosnia and Herzegovina as underdogs.
So before Canada's match, we'll have Switzerland facing Bosnia and Herzegovina. That goes at 3 Eastern, noon Pacific, and you'll be able to see it here on TSN. Let's recap some of the other matches from earlier today, beginning with England and Croatia. England have only lost 1 of their last 8 opening World Cup matches. 9th minute, England with the corner, and it's Declan Rice swinging it in, and Luka Modric goes to clear it. He catches Noni Madueke, and England are awarded the penalty. And on the replay, their Croatian captain in his last World Cup commits the foul. Modric is the 4th European player to play in 5 World Cups. He concedes the penalty early. So from the spot, up steps the captain, Harry Kane, and he's stopped. Kane gets stopped. Great save by the Croatian keeper, but hold on after a VAR check. He's off the line.
He's off the line. Absolutely.
So Kane gets another opportunity. This time, he makes no mistake, and he puts in the go-ahead goal. England have never lost a World Cup game when scoring first. And then jump to the 35th minute. Peter Sukic to Martin Baturina, who smashes it past Jordan Pickford. An incredible strike. England didn't concede a single goal in the World Cup qualifiers. It's tied at 1. And then in the 41st minute, another corner kick. Rice's cross. Kane flies in, heads it in. His 81st goal for England makes it 2-1, Jimmy.
It's incredible. I don't understand how one of the best strikers in the world is left alone on that corner, and Harry Kane just sneaking through everybody and finishes it.
That's his 10th World Cup goal. That ties the English record for a male player. And then Croatia deep into the first half stoppage time. It's Musa volleys it in. Musa plays for FC Dallas, so scoring for his country in the city that he plays his club football in. And then tied at 2 at the half, but the Three Lions on the front foot early in the second half. And it's Jude Bellingham with an amazing solo effort to give England the lead. 4 of Bellingham's 7 England goals have been scored in major tournaments. It was 3-2 for England, and they weren't done there. In the 85th minute, Marcus Rashford cuts inside and makes it 4-2 England. This is a great finish.
Terrific finish. He just chops it, catches the defender flat-footed, and it was just a touch inside and a release. Absolutely world-class finish from Rashford.
England were knocked out in the 2018 World Cup semifinals by Croatia, so they get a little bit of revenge here as they go on to win 4-2 in this Group L opener. And Harry Kane not only ties the record for most World Cup goals by an English male player, he's also the only player other than David Beckham to score goals in 3 World Cups. He's now up to 10. Beckham, 3 goals spanning 1998, 2002, and 2006. It was Portugal taking on Congo in Group K. Cristiano Ronaldo joining Lionel Messi as the only men to play in 6 World Cups. Portugal with a tribute to Diego Jota after their anthem. Jota and his brother passed away in a car accident last summer. His parents were in attendance, and in the 6th minute, it's Pedro Neto with a cross to João Neves, and he heads it in. The 21-year-old opens the scoring in his World Cup debut, pointing to the sky after the goal. Real emotional moment for both the team and the parents.
No, it really was, and you could see them all coming together and celebrating, but to be fair, that ball into the box was absolutely first class.
And then an added time at the end of the half.
That's interesting whistle! The Leopards pounce! The Leopards roar! We have history in Houston! A first ever World Cup goal for DR Congo!
Yohan Wissa scores the first ever World Cup goal for Congo. He had just 1 goal last season in the Premier League. A group of fans celebrating in Lisbon, like literally 6 or 7 of them in a sea of red. And then in the 68th minute, Francesco Conceição to Ronaldo in the penalty area, but his shot is wide. Ronaldo had 3 shots, all off target. He's now got 10 straight major tournament games without scoring, as this one ends in a draw. It's history for Congo as they pick up the first ever World Cup point, 1-1 the final. And in Group L, Ghana taking on Panama, the second match taking place at Toronto Stadium after Canada's opener against Bosnia and Herzegovina. Ghana fans marching through the streets of Toronto. Likewise, the Panama fans, an army of red to watch their nation compete in Toronto in just their 2nd World Cup. It's the first competitive meeting between the two nations. This one taking place in front of just under 43,000 fans at a rainy Toronto Stadium. Picking up in the 2nd minute, Panama on the attack, and it's Lawrence Adezigi who makes the save on Cecilio Waterman. Great stop by the Ghanaian keeper, who played in all 3 of Ghana's matches at the 2022 World Cup. He would have to be subbed out, though, with an injury early in the second half. Skip to the second half when Panama again is threatening in the box. The ball comes to Christian Martinez, but he finds the wrong side of the post. Panama looking for their first win at the World Cup after losing all 3 group stage matches in 2018. And then in stoppage time,
Thomas Asante, who skips away from Cordoba. Ghana could be in business!
wins it for Ghana in the 5th minute of stoppage time in Toronto. His first ever international goal is a stoppage time winner in his World Cup debut. As Ghana take all 3 points with the win. And here are the scenes at Sankofa Square in downtown Toronto. What a scene. Meanwhile, here's the man of the match with our Jermaine Franklin.
Caleb, congratulations on the win and scoring the winning goal. Can you take us through that play?
Yeah, I think it was quite a good collective goal. We won the ball and then we just tried to be positive, go forward and then put the ball in the box and also run in the box. I think, yeah, and then we got the opportunity to find one.
This is an interesting question, so forgive me when I ask, but did this feel like a World Cup? What did it feel like for you out there and the Black Stars?
I think we've been working so long for this moment. And then I think I see everyone is ready to perform, do their best and give their all for the team. And I think that's what we showed today.
And how important was getting that win and the crucial 3 points to begin your World Cup?
Yeah, I think it shows the job we've been doing, and then it gives us the motivation to keep going, just take it day by day and then hope for the best.
So after the day's action, we have England and Ghana sitting at the top of the Group L table, both getting victories and earning the 3 points. They'll face each other on Tuesday, while it's Panama and Croatia playing their next game, currently sitting with 0 points after match day 1. Meanwhile, it was Colombia earning their first victory against Uzbekistan, who got their first goal ever at the World Cup. It was a 3-1 final at Mexico City Stadium. We'll have much more coverage after the break.
Guys, I hate to break it to you, but we don't have enough lace for the game.
Let's go to the store then.
We cannot go in the 2-pack. Just 2-pack. Hi, how you doing? We were having an awesome viewing party, and if you had lace, you can come with us.
How are you?
Chips? No lace, no game. She had them! Try to get the whole started. Welcome. Grab the door.
What if you could print every idea to life? Print your possible at vistaprint.ca.
Sex. Real Canadian Superstore. A whole world and more.
Aw, Ben's gonna miss him.
Yes, with TD MySpend. It's how we're making banking more human.
Striker is on the move. He cuts inside. He dribbles past one defender. He's heading towards the box. He shoots.
I'm in heaven, and my heart beats so that I can hardly speak. When we're out together dancing
this year's World Cup, one that has seen its field expand to 48 teams, and it's produced some shocking results. Let's take a look at some of the reaction following some unexpected results from today. Let's begin in Lisbon, where this tiny group of Congo fans were unfazed despite being surrounded by thousands of Portuguese supporters following Congo's first ever goal and point at the World Cup against Portugal. This was a scene in North London with fans taking to the street to celebrate the historic result after a 52-year absence from the tournament. The party continued in the nation's capital of Kinshasa, with fans running wild in celebration, absolutely euphoric following their improbable 1-1 draw against the 7th-ranked European giants. Now about the scenes in downtown Toronto. This was Sankofa Square a few hours ago following Ghana's 1-0 stoppage time win over Panama. There's an estimated 50,000 Ghanaians living in the greater Toronto area, and their team gave them something to cheer about with the upset, earning a massive 3 points as they look to move to the knockout stage for the first time in 16 years. Back alongside with Jimmy Brennan. So we've seen some fantastic results. You think of Capo Verde and what they did against Spain, New Zealand getting a result against Iran. It's a 48-team field that everyone's got a strong opinion about. Is it too early to say that the move towards 48 teams is a success at the World Cup?
At the moment, I love it. I think it's absolutely brilliant. You see what it does to countries. It unites countries and brings people together. It gives opportunity for countries that have never been to a World Cup to finally get to one, or teams that haven't been there in 20, 30 years to finally get back to a World Cup and give their country something to celebrate. Now, when you're talking about, is it the right thing? Have we seen enough? I think as the tournament goes on in Game 2, Game 3, do some of these teams have enough depth, which they can compete and contend to get into that next round? I think that's when we're going to see which teams will tend to struggle and which won't.
And another unexpected result was Qatar drawing Switzerland. That's not what Canada wants tomorrow. As we look at the slate of matches, which a lot of eyes in this country will be on Vancouver at BC Place, with Canada taking on Qatar. You also, just before that, have Bosnia and Herzegovina taking on Switzerland. Is there a match tomorrow that you're looking at that, whether it's an upset or it's going to surprise someone, that you're kind of circled in addition to Canada?
Yes, there is. I like Mexican football. I'm a fan of Mexican football. But this is one match that I'm going to be watching tomorrow against South Korea. I think South Korea might be the team that's going to upset Mexico in Mexico. We know how difficult it is playing there, but that's the team that I'm going to take. They played against each other September 9th, 2025. South Korea was up 2-1, and in the 94th minute, Mexico ended up scoring the goal to equalize. But I think this is going to be a tough match for Mexico.
You're sharing your experience of playing for Canada in Mexico City, and when it was 0-0 at the half, and how the fans were getting on Mexico. If they're losing, will they get on this team?
Yeah, they definitely will. They definitely will. Sometimes you don't want that because then that pushes them forward.
All right, so looking forward to 4 matches. Tomorrow begins with Czechia against South Africa. All eyes, of course, 6 o'clock Eastern, 3 o'clock Pacific, with Canada taking on Qatar. One player who's taking on a big role for Canada, Luke DeFugero, and a guy who is the president of his fan club is our Stevie Caldwell, who sat down with the Canadian defender.
I mean, I think back to like your character, having coached you and known you since you were 15 years. Spoke to some players that grew up with you and that trained with you. What is it you think that gives you that work ethic, that attitude that you have, that makes you that kind of outstanding young player and someone that people can rely on?
To be honest with you, I think it's just my love for football. I just love watching football, love playing football.
Cleared off the line by Canada.
This is going in the back of the net if it isn't for the Denda centre back getting back into position.
Has a hit
For me, it doesn't really feel like a job, and it's kind of like the work ethic that I can do. I love playing football. I love training to become better at football. So all the stuff I do alongside it is just getting better at football. So for me, it's very easy, to be honest with you. So yeah, it just feels easy to do, and I just love doing it. So I just do as much as I can to become a better player and improve myself.
Well, take me right back to your decision to choose Canada. I'm interested to know how that came about and what influenced that choice?
Well, obviously, when I was younger, I was very keen to play for the youth national team under Maro, but because of like many things, when I got COVID straight before I was going to go, and then the other one had exams, I wasn't able to actually go. And then, obviously, when Maro became the interim head coach, then he called me and said, "Would you be interested?" And I said, "Of course." Like, it's been my dream for a while to play for Canada, whether that was the youth team or the men's team. And then he called me out for a friendly game in Japan, and he said, he was kind of saying, you go and just enjoy it. It's obviously a friendly game. You don't have to make a decision now. Just come see the guys. I went. I loved it, to be honest with you. And to be fair, before the camp, I think I made my mind up, and then after the camp, I was sure that's what I wanted to do. So the next camp, I went again for, I think, the Jamaica game, which was obviously a competitive game. And then from then, I was, chose Canada.
No discussions in the household about, choosing England or Canada. Was there any arguments here?
To be fair, my mum's obviously English, my dad's Canadian, so they want what's best for me, of course. My mum wanted me to maybe think a bit more, just kind of weighing up the pros and cons. But for me, I was kind of just set on Canada. I wasn't really thinking. I just wanted to go and enjoy it. So for me, it was quite an easy decision.
The pressure turns to Luke de Fougerolles.
It's another great opportunity for Luke. He's played more minutes than any centre back for Jesse Marsh since the summer. That's more than Derek Cornelius. That's more than Joel Wartsman and Kamal Miller.
You've really grown in a Canadian shirt under Jesse Marsh. You've played a lot of games. He's put you into already high pressure situations. What do you like about his coaching style, his leadership, managerial, one-on-one management? What is it makes Jesse Marsh so special?
I think he's been amazing. I think he came in straight away and said, gave us a new identity of play that maybe obviously I wasn't around much with John Herdman, but he gave us a new identity of play, and everyone's bought into it now. And I think for me personally, it suits me a lot. Kind of stepping in with the ball, having freedom to express yourself on the pitch, even as a centre back, where some people might not like that. And then also defensively being aggressive, having a high line, kind of winning the ball back, leaving in 1v1 situations at the back, which for me I love doing. I love defending. I love 1v1 defending. That's why I love playing fullback so much as well. So I feel like I think it suits me so much. And he's also helped me a lot, to be honest with you. At the start, it was tough. I think everyone found it tough, the new style of play, and I think he was really good with me, helping me out. And then if I ever had a problem, I know I can come to him because he's a very approachable guy, and he's a guy I think I have a good relationship with. So he's been amazing for me, honestly.
He gives really 110% every training in everything that he does. We've needed him in many occasions now. And going forward, I think he's going to continue growing and having a big role for this national team.
We're on the eve of home World Cup games. A couple of questions here. What does that mean for you, and how do you go out there and be your best in that environment? The pressure's going to be high. Obviously, it's the biggest game you're ever going to have played in. You want to do well. How do you quieten the noise and just perform like everyone expects Luke de Fougerolles to play?
I feel like I'm always kind of quite calm before games. Just in everything I do, I'm kind of quite relaxed. I don't get too high, and when things are going bad, I don't get too low. And for me, it would just be an honour to play, and I know that I would make the most of it. You kind of, obviously it's a big game, and everyone knows it's a big game, but you just got to treat it like any other game. It's football, and all the eyes are on you, which is, for me, I also like that, and I want to show everyone what I can do.
First point as a
Can't wait for that one. Meanwhile, it was a day of unexpected results and the continuation of superstars flexing their muscle at this tournament. For our entire crew, thanks for watching TSN's coverage of the 2026 FIFA World Cup. say?
Not bad.
Yo, Dean. Yo, JD, you see my text? They haven't lost. These guys are unbelievable. They haven't lost? Since 96. Yo, when I step up in the place, yo, I step correct. All in check. I got that head knock. Make you break your neck. I got you all in check. Haven't lost yet. I got you all in check.
Paint. Sweat. Repeat. Care for your skin like you care for the game.
All three host countries of the 2026 FIFA